You are watching the Coriolis effect, where the right and the left come together and create a moving force, a circular force, and hopefully to start a discussion and bring some peace and unity to our communities. We thank you guys so much for supporting us. Click the link either above or below and subscribe. Well, today's show would not be possible unless we had some sponsors, and so we're so grateful for our sponsors. And one of them happens to be faithbox.com. It is a subscription-based, faith-based box that you get once a month, and in that box is just a variety of goodies. This is my January box. We're in February now. This is my January box, and it has calendars and pens, and in these boxes are goodies from all around the world. And there is a impact guide, and this month is peacefulness, which I love because that's kind of goes in line with our show. And it has a description of every item that is in the box, and it breaks down how it was derived, where it's from, and a little bit of background behind that item. And so I love these guys. They've been very faithful to me, and so I just can't say enough about them. It's a faith-based box that comes to your house once a month, and you can subscribe to faithbox.com for a nominal fee. You get all kinds of good, fun goodies in this box. And I do believe that I have a code, Cory10, which is, you get a discount code. So just type in Cory, C-O-R-Y, and the number 10. So thank you, faithbox.com. We love you, and we will continue to support you. I also want to thank BeverlyHillsBalm.com, which is my partner in my business, for supporting our show. It is BeverlyHillsBalm.com, and it's a jumbo lip balm, which is fantastic. This is the original. It's very, very smooth. It has 5 ingredients in it. That's it, 5. Smells so good. It's peppermint. And you can put this on your cheeks, your lips. You can use it on your hands. You can use it on your elbows. You can put it on your split ends. I've had so many people write in with a lot of different usages for this balm. It's kind of an all-inclusive balm, although we kind of use it for our lips and cheeks as well, because we do have a pink. So I do have it on. I just put it on my cheeks and my lips. This actually is a great little trick if you are married and you are you just washed your face and you want to go to bed and look kind of fresh and fun. You can leave this on your skin all night long. Just put on your cheeks, it gives you a little color, and put on your lips, it gives you a little color. This is our pink shimmer. Has a little bit of mica in it, so it's kind of shiny and shimmery, but this is BeverlyHillsBalm.com. We thank you also for supporting our show. Today, I have a really special guest who blows my mind. He is a triple threat and then some. One of Hollywood's finest, I believe. Having gotten to know you over the last couple months, you are, to me, a pure at heart person. You are genuine, you are caring, and you are so talented. And today we welcome Mr. Frank Stallone Jr.
Thank you, Cory. Boy, who's that?
Yeah,
Great.
that is Frank Stallone. And you are an actor, American actor, a singer, songwriter. You are a comedian to me. I don't know. We're going to talk a little bit about that. If you've ever done any stand-up,
I just make her laugh a lot when we shop.
Well, you truly are one of Hollywood's finest, and I say that because you've proven yourself time and time again. And
by the way, now we have to see how long it takes you to make her cry.
Okay.
Well, I want to tell you, I have so much to talk to you about today. I'm very excited, but I want to tell you that when your song "Far From Over" came out, I was little, I was young. And I didn't know until I watched your documentary, which we're promoting today, which is Stallone, Frank, that is. It's on Amazon and it's on iTunes.
Yeah.
I watched it the other night and I was just blown away by, your accomplishments. And so tell me a little bit about just yourself. And the documentary says it all.
Yeah.
I don't want to give it away because there's so much information about you in that documentary that a lot of people don't know yet, right? Yeah.
Well,
what made you decide to do it?
Well, that's why they call me the most famous unknown person in Hollywood.
I love that line.
Yeah.
That's great.
I came up with that.
Did you really?
Yeah, I came up with it, because I live with it all the time. That's why it's called Stallone in big letters, in little letters, Frank, that is. Why? Because in the 80s, I did so many bad action movies. I knew they were bad, but I was learning on the job, right? That when they would come out with the VHS box, over top would be Stallone in giant letters. So when people go to like Blockbuster, go, oh, Stallone, Sly's got a new movie, and lift up and go, Frank underneath. So I kind of made fun of myself but I knew what it was. I was up on the gig. I wasn't that thin-skinned, so I got it. But
even in the documentary, your brother says, Sylvester Stallone says that you are. I think I wrote it down here somewhere that you are every bit as talented, if not more, than he is.
Well, better at what you do than he is at what he tries to do.
That is right, and to see that from your brother, your relationship's beautiful.
That was a shock.
This
because he's never said that to me in person. Wow. No. So what did you say 30 years ago? No, I mean,
you make me cry, Frank.
Okay.
And we're 2 minutes and 8 seconds in.
Wow.
No, so he never said that to me. And the thing was, I never was there when any of the interviews were done. I was not there because I really wanted it to be realistic. I wanted it to be, okay, Frank's a jerk, whatever. If he's this, whatever. So I figured the only way to get the truth out of it is not be there. And because if you're there, people are going to be a little self-conscious. Oh, I want to make Frank look good. So, but they're telling the story more than I am.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of inadvertently in there.
But by the way, you're very funny. And I don't know if a lot of people know that about you. You're very funny. And I watched an interview, I think it was on Ken Boxer Live years ago.
Oh, God.
And you did this. You impersonated your brother and John Travolta very well, I might add. Mm-hmm. But that story was very interesting. Take us through that story and your journey in your songwriting with Staying Alive.
Well, what happened with that was when I found out my brother was directing Saturday Night Fever sequel, Staying Alive, I'm saying, oh my goodness, that sold 52 million records, 26 million double albums, which was unheard of, okay?
Yeah.
So I kind of hobbled myself over in my car to Paramount.
Your crappy car, you said.
My crappy car, yeah, really bad. Yeah.
And they wouldn't let you on the lot.
No, they didn't, no. I was like common non grata.
You can't say Sly's brother.
Well, I did. They didn't believe me. So I had to go to a phone booth and call them up. They didn't have cell phones.
Superman.
So went to the phone booth. And I finally got him in the office, and what's up? I said, well, I'm outside. Just wanted to come in, say hello. Of course, I was coming in because my career was in the toilet, thinking, I don't know what I was thinking. But
you said you were flat broke.
I never had anything going. I lost my record deals.
Right.
I was playing little local clubs with my band. I mean, Madam Wong's and Hop Sings, all these clubs that aren't there anymore. Just, to play. We were making no money. I mean, I was probably paying my guys $10 each a night, something like that,
It hasn't changed.
It hasn't changed, no. But the weird thing was...
I say that, I played last weekend, 5 guys, $105.
There you go. That sounds like me bar bands in Jersey. Yeah. After my manager took 20%. Yeah. So now it's $110 or something. So what happens is, I show up on the studio. And I go up into the office, and it's pre-production, as we know, and it's huge office. And everyone's around brown-nosing, trying to get in good with everybody. It's pre-production of the movie, and they know it's going to be a big movie. Come on, it's a sequel,
Yeah.
So I kind of wander my way into Sly's office. It's a huge office, and he's acting like a big shot, So I walk in. And I said, look, man, I want to ask you something. Is there a chance I can get a song in the movie? And he goes, I don't think so. You got the Bee Gees. And I said, all right. So really, not to show you. Yeah. So he did something to kind of placate me. He goes, yeah, why don't you just go write some songs? You never know. I think he just wanted to get rid of me. So on my way out, I took the script. I stole the script.
Very smart.
Very smart. Stole the script. Went home, started reading it. And it kind of coalesced with my life because in the script, Tony Manero wants to become legit, even though I felt I was a legit musician, but he didn't want to be some Guido from Brooklyn. Right. He wanted to be go to Broadway and be a real force to be reckoned with. So when I wrote the stuff, I think subconsciously, and I think because our subconscious is working all the time.
Sure.
I think I was kind of, some of it was autobiographical.
Oh.
You know, and I did read the script, so I kind of, and then every few weeks I'd come into his office. The first week was okay. Second week I come in, you know, I wasn't dressed that great. I was pretty hair down, and I come in.
Ah, you're pretty good looking though. I saw those photos.
Oh,
You with the
thank you,
70s and
honey.
80s hair,
Still
like
look
you wouldn't
good.
believe, yeah.
Well, I'd come in with a cassette because I was recording in a place in Silver Lake. Seriously, I think it was $20 an hour studio.
Okay.
But, you know, sometimes good things come out of those little studios back then. So I came in with these demo tapes, and, you know, it was like Moody Girl, Never Gonna Give You Up, some other stuff like that. And, you know, of course, live would sit there. And he's got like ADD too, so his listening skills are not great. I said, so what's that mean? So anyway, I would leave. And then every few weeks I'd come back with a cassette, and you could see the people in the office like, oh, here he is again. You know, like these people.
Brother.
Yeah, because they're brown nosing, you know. They're like, oh, here he is again. They're kind of being nice to me because they probably think my brother and I are really tight, which we weren't at that point, so they get fired.
Right.
So they just kind of bid it, you know what I mean? So I came in. So nothing's going on. I'm playing with the band, but I think I have some good songs. You know, I believe I have some good songs that are a little different. So one day I get a call from him, and there's two voices. There's the voice that maybe I did something wrong, or the voice is that he wants something. The one is like, hey, Frank. I said, okay, what I do
That's
now?
good, knowing who you're talking to.
Yeah, the other one is, hey, brother, how are you? I said, okay, here we go.
Okay.
Something.
You're in.
I'm in.
You're in.
Now, you have to understand, I'm living in Bel Air, in his house, by myself. He's not living there.
Where was he?
He's back with his wife. So I'm living in this house in Bel Air. I have no idea when I come out here. That Bel Air is one of the most expensive neighborhoods in the United States. So I'm living there, and I'm on a $50 a week allowance because I had no money. So girls would say, so where do you live? I said, well, I live in Bel Air. And all of a sudden it's like, ooh.
Oh.
I had no idea.
But I can't afford a drink.
Yeah, but I can't afford to buy a drink.
Can you bring dinner?
Yeah. I say, can you bring some Boone's Farm? Yeah, so anyway, that happened. So then he comes in, and then all of a sudden he goes, yeah, remember those songs you wrote? I go, of course I remember the songs I wrote. You rejected every one of them. No, I forgot them. You know, it's like a month after. I forgot all that hard work, you know. Well, listen, I'm having lunch with John, you know, and John's depressed. I'm going, I love all the rich guys are depressed.
Okay.
John
Like guys
Travolta.
that have like, 5 cents. We're supposed to be like
Rich
happy.
people problems.
Yeah. I said, I really feel sorry for John. Yeah. We're going to his house in Bel Air? Yeah, sure, babe. Okay. So anyway, so I come in hand, and then he's telling me, no, don't say who it is, all right? I said, okay.
Don't tell him you're my brother.
Yeah, don't tell, yeah.
Because you don't look anything alike.
Yeah, no, he knows. He knows I'm his brother, but don't
Right.
don't say anything. All right, I'll handle it. Okay, so I'm sitting there. We're sitting here. John's here. I'm here. My brother's here, and they're just talking. It's like commiserating. You know, like complaining. The movie is mumbling, and John's on the other side, like crying to blue. Yes, yeah. And he's got these huge teeth, like hey, yes.
Oh my God.
Like the Cheshire Cat. Yeah.
That's a great impression. But what people don't know, and I know you're probably getting to this part of the story, is that the Bee Gees at the time were signed to do this, correct?
Yeah, but they didn't want to do it.
Soundtrack. They didn't want to do it.
No, they didn't really.
They didn't want to do it?
No, they didn't really want to do it but Robert Stigwood was the producer, but he's their manager. They kind of wanted to move on because people kind of labeled them as disco, and they're not disco.
Yeah.
They didn't write the song. They just put them in the movie, but they were not disco writers. They were not like Chic or anything.
I've heard two versions. I've heard somebody pissed them off when they walked, and then I've heard them say, either Merv Douglas or Mike Douglas or Merv Griffin say, we didn't want to be. We did so well the first time. We've done it.
Well, yeah, they've done it. They didn't want to do it anymore. But what happened? What I heard is I heard their demos of the songs for Staying Alive, and I'm there. Oh man, they're really good. Just acoustic guitar and them singing. I said, wow, I'm in deep trouble now. But what happened? They went into the studio, and I guess they were overproduced and maybe too homogenized. and John didn't like them because they were kind of, and something happened. Maybe it was an excuse for them to walk, right? So anyway.
By the way, somebody told me when they recorded 2 Tascam 24 tracks slaved together just for the vocals.
Yeah.
Their vocals were processed.
Over. So we're sitting there at the table, and all of a sudden, they're crying the blues, and it's like Barbarino meets Rocky, from Welcome Back, Kotter. It's like Sly's a guest star on Welcome Back, Kotter.
That's so funny.
From the audience,
So then,
Kotter was a show in the 70s.
Yes, folks.
Very, very popular with Gabe Kaplan.
Gabe Kaplan. Okay. So one thing leads to another. Sly goes, and this is perfect, Sly. I found this music. What you listen to? I said, you found? Okay. Of course, you can take credit, right? Okay. So, but I gotta give him credit. He did. So there's.
I love it.
So we didn't have they didn't have so he had one of those Sony boom boxes before the boom, but a big Sony tape recorder. Puts it in, and John's eating and he's listening to it. And he's going, yeah, listening now. And more of the songs going, he's going, yeah, wow, yeah, Jesus, And they're like, whoa, are you serious? He's like digging it. He goes, yeah, I like this. Yeah. Okay. Finally, at the end, he goes, yeah, it's great. Who is that? And he goes, it's Frankie. And all of a sudden, it stopped. And he looked, it was like this look. I think he probably thought I was like the town idiot or
it's
like
the move
Fredo.
over here.
Yeah, it's over here. And he went, Frankie did that? I go, yeah.
Frankie.
I thought he was a messenger who just brought the tape to you.
Yeah, exactly, right. Oh, Frankie did that? Yes, okay. And I'm like all excited. Okay, fast forward, I find out Monday, this is the weekend, Monday, they're doing the choreography to Far From Over for the opening of the movie. And I'm there, oh my God. But every week or every 5 or 6 days, they're adding another song of mine in there. Because my manager, who I got the job over there, is one of the music supervisors, but kept telling me, Frank, they're just,
And these are songs you had already written that they're just now using.
Yeah, these are songs I've written for the movie.
These are the ones that you had written for the script.
Yeah,
you had taken the
right.
script, right.
Yeah. So that's what happened. And then
You had 11 songs, correct?
Yeah. Well, including instrumentals and stuff on there. Like, wow. I mean, but even though they're giving me $3,000 a song, when you're broke, it's a lot of money. Of course, they screwed me on the publishing, which what else is new? Yeah, they take 100% of your publishing.
So if you had to do anything different today with regards to how you handled that situation,
I would kept my publishing because I've been a cajillionaire. Yeah. No, I mean, I maybe have worked something out. My brother was not business savvy. I mean, if I would have had a manager like Irving Azoff or David Geffen, I would have at least kept a third or a half of my publishing.
But who knew?
Who knew? Yeah. But and that's the story of my life with my career. I never had that team. I never had that mentorship.
You mentioned
I
that
never had anybody to talk
documentary,
to. I was just basically kind of on my own. My brother was doing his thing. He was married one week, not this week. This girl, this week. So he was going through his thing, but I'm going I don't really have a mentor. Obviously, my management is...
Well, look, now you have Cory. She's been in the business 30 years. She'll help you.
There you go.
Well, I'm just fascinated with you because I've been in Hollywood for a very long time. Mm-hmm. We all know what we go through to just try to secure one position, even one song in a movie, and yet, let alone 11. And
11.
In a major movie.
And everyone in your documentary, and there are a lot of names in your documentary. I'm not going to name drop because I want people to watch it because it's so good. Mm-hmm. But every single person that spoke on your behalf talked about your talent and how
really
talented
nice.
You are. I don't know if they were being nice or true. They're being honest.
I think
You're
they're
so
being
talented.
true. I wasn't there, so I mean, I don't think they had any reason to lie. I mean, I guess they were just saying
you're talented.
They asked me. They asked, "What do you think?" I mean, it wasn't like a thing in the contract. You have to say Frank School. It wasn't like something like that. Listen,
were you there during the editing, or did you
never? No.
Oh, it's so great! It's so great. I'm just so excited about it.
It's good.
Oh yeah, it's not bad.
No, I'm truly impressed by it because how long in between your last project did you decide to do this?
Well, I didn't decide to do it. They came to me. It wasn't like I go, okay, I'm at this age, my career's in the toilet. Maybe I'll do a documentary about myself. No, I didn't do it that way. They came to me. I had no intentions or no idea about any of this. And they came to me, and of course, they're always blowing smoke out here, so I figured, all right, big deal. Okay, yeah, whatever. So I forgot about it. And then they came to me and they said, no, we're serious about it. We're doing this. We got some money together. I said, are you serious? So then I just started calling people I knew, asking if they wanted to be in the documentary. The first two people were Bruce Buffer and Boss Rutan, who's a UFC guy. And then from there, I asked my brother, who I was very surprised he did. I asked Arnold, and everyone was pretty cool about it.
Listen,
It was a great
I'm
documentary.
going to watch it a second time. It's so good. Tell me a little bit about, because in the opening, it talks about when you were a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And your mom, who has recently passed away, I'm sorry to hear that. My condolences. And I want to get a little bit into her because she's fascinating in and of herself.
Yeah.
But she said from a very young age, you came out and you were singing and entertaining. And you knew at what age that you wanted to pursue this? 6 years old.
Yeah.
And were you in the living room with a hairbrush singing other people's songs like I
No,
was singing
broom,
yours?
like Elvis. No.
Right. Well, no, because I literally sang Far From Over, not knowing, and I'm sorry I'm admitting this to you now, but I didn't know that song, that you had written that song until I watched your documentary.
That's
Frank.
amazing. This is the great thing. This is why I have such a great love life. Because, when I was 7 years old,
No, but
or
I'm not
my
joking.
my
parents
mom
love your stuff.
loved your stuff. I go, God almighty.
Listen,
I never thought it would happen to me. I never thought it'd be like, say, hey, how you doing? I really like your music, but, my mom
I
really had
was
a
singing
crush
it.
on
I
you.
never
It's
said
like-
you're my mother.
I'll
I
give
was
you that.
singing it.
When I was
Yeah,
watching,
but you were like 4 years old.
I was like,
when I was watching
yeah.
basketball
6,
and they had
7.
written, wow, she's really pretty. And then 30 years, hey, I get to meet her.
Yeah, right.
You're nothing like
I don't think
Britney.
Frank knows that I was in that movie.
Did you know she was in basketball? Yeah, have you seen basketball?
I don't think he's
It's
seen
the,
that movie.
What movie?
It's a movie called Basketball. It's a cross between basketball and baseball. The guys who did
South Park.
South Park did it.
No, I
Matt
It's a
Stone
crazy
and Trey
movie, but
Parker.
the opening scene is they're at the high school girl's party. There's a really gorgeous girl at the party, and then they do something stupid, and then they invent this game. But she was, 20, 22?
Yes.
How old were
Were
you?
you just new in town?
Yes. No, I wasn't 20. I was actually married, and I think I was like 29, 30 maybe. But
Young.
it was, yeah, you'll have to, let's
I'll have
not
to see
see
that
that.
movie.
Don't watch that movie.
Hey, listen, I get hammered for all my movies, the bad ones I've done. That's what I've been doing the last week on interviews. There are these film geeks, and they go, hey, man, I want to discuss 3 movies you did. I go, God. Because I'm the first one that said I've done 77 movies.
That's a lot.
70 of them were garbage.
That's, oh my
And those
gosh,
are the
that's
ones
fine.
they pick because these film nerds like to watch bad movies like Ed Wood type stuff. And I said, well, I got a lot of those.
And are you still writing music for?
Not really. I mean, there's no one to write for anymore. I mean, I'm not the type of person that sits around and writes for himself. Not that I can't. If I'm writing with someone, I can do it. But it's just a different world. Where do you do with it?
Well, I like that you write your
it's-
own music.
it's-
And you're not
yeah.
taken from other people. So.
No.
It's a completely different world, and I'll share with you this. I have a daughter who's 21 years old, and I drove her to school every day of her life. I was a helicopter mom, as we've talked about.
Was?
Well, I kind of pulled back. She's at college now, and she knows I still kind of hover. But this is to my question for you. I'm in the car one day, and I'm driving, and she's playing this music, and it's pumping, and it's thumping, and I'm actually singing along with it. And I'm like, get up on this. And then I realized, I was like, hang on. Get up on what?
What
What
is
are we
this?
getting
Yeah.
up on? And I had to turn the song down. And my question to you is, what is the biggest concern, if you have any, with the music from the 80s, which you could actually understand, that had a story to tell, that, like you said, your music was somewhat cathartic.
Yeah.
It was about your life and the
Yeah.
things you went through. What can you say about the 80s as opposed to music that's written now? And I'm not dissing anybody's music now. It's just a different world.
Well, one is musician based and lyric content. Okay, so remember, you have to understand, when I came up, you had the musicals, the huge musicals, Singing in the Rain, all the musicals. You had Rodgers and Hammerstein, Rodgers and Hart, Cole Porter. Then you have Elvis, who had great songs that were written for him. And then you have the Beatles, who wrote some of the greatest songs in history. It was Stones,
Yeah.
okay. But they all either played an instrument or they sang. Or even before that, the Platters, groups like Little Anthony and the Imperials, Spinners, music.
Yeah, I know all of these.
Then the 80s came in, and then the synthesizer came in. And then it was like, then they figured out, let's steal this, let's sample.
I remember this mainly because Van Halen did it. They were one of the first ones to go to the synthesizing drums, right?
Well, they were the first one to go. They were the first hard rock hair band to start using really.
Well, that's one I
synth-based.
remember.
That was
But he was,
84
but they were great musicians.
Yeah,
He was
they were right.
Yeah, he didn't need it, but he could do it.
The difference is if you look at the 80s and the 70s,
Yeah.
the music is amazing.
Yeah.
And David Byrne would say, from the Talking Heads, would say, lyrics are just there to get you listening to music longer than you normally would.
Yeah.
No, right.
When you get to now, a beat, trumpet once in a while in the background, and somebody talking over it. And it's the greatest
Well, that's
song
what
in the
I'm
world.
wondering. Like,
And
it
it's
must
just this rambling on of these things. I'm wondering, do you even know what you're talking about? How can you? I can't remember that many lyrics. I'd have to have a teleprompter the size of this room. Like, and then I don't like the idea that, and I'm not a woman's liber, I'm not one, but I mean, they really talk really derogatory about women. I mean, stuff like, if you actually said that in a normal thing, boyfriend would punch your lights out. Yeah. And the thing is, the N-word, using all this stuff, and violence toward police, or violence, or this anarchist type vibe, which I don't dig.
Yeah.
I don't like it at all. And to me, I understand people would say to me, well, I can't understand the words. I mean, when I was a kid, like the Beatles stuff, what the hell are they saying, you know? So I don't want to sound like my parents, but at least we were playing music. I mean, playing guitar and singing.
We do. I mean, my dad is, what is she saying? Oh, that's Robert Plant, it's a guy. Really?
Yeah.
Now I'm with my daughter. And I think my daughter will go, this is the best song in the world. Do you like it? Yeah. I also liked it when it was written back in 1984. And they like, Take On Me, They used the same riff. She's like, that's the best thing. Yeah, it was written 40 years ago.
How about Every Breath That You Take?
Yeah.
Tupac stuff.
Yeah.
But see what? We got smart to that. And they said, no, you're going to pay, Jack. They did
Which is
that.
only fair. I think that's fair.
Of course,
I mean,
it's fair.
You create the music.
It's plagiarism. I remember when they did Rocky V, which I was not involved in, thank God. And this group, I don't even know what the hell they were, like, we're using Take You Back. And they're saying, they called me up, they go, yeah, you know, with our song. I go, excuse me? Your song? No, it's my song that you're plagiarizing and turning it into like a bad song, but you're going to pay for it.
Yeah. We're covering it.
Yeah, we're covering it, but they were making it like, you know, this is our vision for our song. I said, no. I wrote the song for You Were Born in Trenton, New Jersey, which is basically the rectum bow of New Jersey.
Oh my gosh.
It is. It's
Never did I think I would hear that sentence come out of anyone's mouth. But that's
first.
If you're just tuning in, we're talking to Frank Stallone
we're not talking
Jr.
about like body parts. We're talking about.
I just wanted to make that clear. We're talking to Frank Stallone, and who has a new documentary coming out, or it is out actually on Amazon and iTunes.
iTunes and Google Play.
And it is about an hour and 20 minutes, and it's fascinating because it takes us through your life and your journey in the industry. And what I want to talk to you a little bit about today, if it's okay, is your mom.
Okay.
Is that all right?
Yeah.
Your mom, Jackie Stallone, fascinates me.
Mm-hmm.
She is a pioneer in her own right, I think.
A little crazy, but...
Maybe, but I think, you know, back in the day when women had a difficult time getting anything done, she managed to, she opened up the first exercise and weight gym.
Well, she worked. Actually, what she did, she had an exercise show on TV in the 50s called Barbellas.
Yes.
And it was called the Ruth Crane Show out of Washington. And I would sit home, you know, remember TV screens were this big, and I'd see my mother like lifting weights on TV. I'm there like, hey, Mom, what's going on? Of course, you're stupid in the 50s. Hey, Mom, what's, you know, like the maid, like, you know, we always had the maid that was chasing us around the house. And that's what she did. You know, my father was a hairdresser, you know, and then my mother left when I was like 6, and she kind of disappeared and married some other guy. So it was, I think the music, I believe it was a divine intervention, because I think if I didn't have the music, it could have been a different scenario. Now, because my brother was a total delinquent. There was no way he was going to be a movie star. If anything, he'd be like the head cook in San Quentin or something, you know, the way he was going, you know what I'm saying? But I had the things, but I kind of got, you know, you get moved around a lot. I got moved around a lot. I mean, when you take a kid 6 years old, and then all of a sudden, in the middle of the night, they move you to my Aunt Rose's, and they stick me from public school into Catholic school back then.
Everybody had an Aunt Rose. I had Aunt Rose,
because everything we did was like learning how to print. In Catholic school, they were longhand.
Yeah.
So believe it or not, I flunked first grade. If that is totally possible, I did. Okay.
Where did you grow
gosh.
up? Which-
Maryland. That was in Maryland.
Maryland?
Yeah. So I think all that stuff, and then the fighting, and then I come back to my original house where I'm now living with my father
And that's where-
and my Aunt Kelleen and my cousin Mark. And then it just gets like a blur because I hadn't seen my mother in a long time. I see my mother, and she's married this new guy from Philadelphia. And then I'm back here, and I said, okay, I'll go live in Philadelphia with my mother. Then I come back to visit my father at Christmas. He's married a woman with 4 kids living in my house. So now I'm a stranger back in my own original house. I said, yeah, girls, go ahead, man. Don't go in my room. I'm like, whoa. And this is like a year and a half. So for that little brain, it's very confusing and very, a lot of discord. I believe, you know, because I'm a person that believes in faith. I believe it was a gift. I don't think it was an accident. I believe it was a gift because I think with going through that, if I didn't have music, I wasn't like a born athlete. What would have and I was a lousy student. So what would you
have drawn from, right?
Yeah, what would I do? So I would sit there so I could take myself out of a bad situation by music.
Good.
I cannot tell you how many times I used to stand in front of the mirror with my guitar and just play and imagining it was a thing. It was almost like Rupert Pupkin, like from the Robert De Niro movie, The Bad Comic, or whatever it was.
How old were you when you first picked up your guitar?
6, 7. But I couldn't play it though. I just and my mother brought my brother and I for Christmas 2 ukuleles. That lasted till we broke them over each other's heads. Yeah, that lasted like 5 minutes. I think we were going to be like the Beverly brothers. That didn't work too good.
Well, you've mentioned a couple times now your faith, and tell me how were you raised, or how that's helped you through your journey.
I was raised Catholic. I went, did my first Holy Communion. I wouldn't say I wouldn't say my family was religious. It wasn't like, okay, we got to get to church. Whoop, we got to get to Mass. I think it was a thing to do. Okay, he's of this age, first Holy Communion. Mm-hmm. If you ever saw the picture of me in my first Holy Communion, it's pretty scary.
Insert that photo somewhere. We need that photo.
I'm like, they made me stand next to some girl. I'm like, fine.
How old were you?
7.
Yes, that's odd because I went to Catholic high school, but in grade school, I was like 12 or 13 when I got my first communion.
Yeah, I wasn't confirmed, but I did have my first Holy Communion.
I'll confirm you right now.
Okay, thank you.
I'm confirming you.
All right. So what happened, and then I went to public schools, and then when I moved to Philadelphia, I went to Notre Dame Academy, which was a old Catholic school, and the nuns.
Was it all boys? Was it, or was it?
I think it was all.
Yeah.
I think it was. I think it might have been mixed, but the nuns had clickers, so they would talk. They had these big clickers.
We were rivals. I went to LaSalle.
Did you really?
Christian Brothers, yeah.
And they had
I feel a bromance coming out.
Yeah, really. Huh?
I couldn't see, and the nuns you couldn't see. No wonder they had a bad attitude.
Sister Mary Alligator. Oh my God, yeah.
It's 85 degrees. I'm wearing a habit. You can see this much of my face, and it's all black. And I'm sure they're wearing a corset.
Well, so that left a real indelible mark on you. And
not a good one. I mean, it wasn't like they were like, I remember one that had like a hair growing out of something.
Gosh.
Like, Mr. Stallone. And I'm there, don't think you're getting away with anything. I had 5 brothers. And they're like, God.
Were you kind of a class clown?
Yes. I was a terrible student. I was kind of the talkative disruptor. I mean, I was watching my old report cards. I was reading. Everyone Frank's a nice boy, but he needs to concentrate and disrupting the class.
I think that's
Frank could do okay, but if he would learn to...
I think that's Catholic education. I have mine. Bobby's a great student, but, and then everything I did wrong.
Yeah. I really believe I had ADD. I still do. I believe because I jump from one thing to the other, to that. Like, I can't read a manual. Like, in other words, when I look at those computers, that's those Chinese.
Right.
Yeah.
If I bought that thing and said, well, here's the manual how it works, or I have no idea. My mind just goes like this.
They didn't call it ADD back then. JDL. Just don't listen.
Yeah, just don't
And
listen.
that's how you got cured.
Yeah, cured.
Yeah.
To give you
When my kids were born, we had a baby gate. My father comes over and says, "What's that?" It's a baby gate. Let's stop the kid from going to the room. He starts laughing. You don't go in the room, you didn't go in the room.
That's it.
And that was
Yeah.
it. You never went to the
Well,
room.
having raised a child through this public school
ham-fisted,
system,
yeah.
it's hard nowadays because parents really they don't want you to discipline their kids. They don't let the teachers discipline their kids. I came from the, if I got in trouble in class and the teacher disciplined me and called my mom that night, I was in trouble. It didn't matter why. Yeah. If she got a phone call, I'd be in trouble. But
you
now
look like you were a good student, though.
I was a good student. I was quiet. I was very shy. I got teased, horribly teased.
I know you told me.
And so I did. I just kind of
See,
sat
the
to
big lips
myself.
and the teeth paid off later.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. People
She was
were
the
mean.
image for Sticky Fingers.
But it's
The Rolling Stone logo. That's her
But it's a
mouth.
story of everybody. Every girl in high school is like, oh, yeah. And all of a sudden they grow up to be a model and an actress. Hey, remember me from high school 20
You know
years ago?
something? And that's true. I went to my 40th high school reunion, and the girls that were like really built and good looking,
They know that.
horrible.
Yeah.
No, they look like mashed potato
Well,
sculptures.
they're out in the sun all day long, so they're leather skin.
Oh, no. And the ones that
Frank,
were kind
you
of...
really come up with some great
And the
one-liners.
ones that were really kind of goofy and nerdy are the ones that really look good, like if married well, did well. And I was absolutely a late bloomer. Absolutely, I was a total late bloomer. I mean,
I think you just keep getting better and better though with age. You look great.
well, I feel
Just
okay.
like with the romantic music.
Yeah.
But no, the thing is, really
very light.
seriously, and I told you, I was a virgin until I was 21, which was unheard
That's
of.
unbelievable.
For the 60s?
Yes.
Summer of Love.
Yeah.
All these other guys were like,
Yeah.
and I really don't know why. I think because of maybe my bad childhood. I think I also had a kind of a chip on my shoulder because you're immediately dealing with the worst scenario. Oh, so she's going to reject me, so I'll just be mean to her anyway.
You were
So-
a virgin by choice.
Wait.
Just not your choice.
That's actually, I want to dive
Yeah.
into that for a second because
Yeah.
that's an interesting statement that you just made. Because
Now,
there's
she would
probably
like me because she was a nerd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was a total nerd, but you just said that you wouldn't like someone because you were afraid of the rejection. She won't like you anyway. What if there are people out there that like you? Are you still at that point in your life where you're afraid of rejection?
Well, I'm still single, aren't I? 70. So I guess it has
well,
worked.
ladies,
Yeah.
there's a chance.
There you go. But no, but the thing is, I think that was the defense. My father was a very violent, volatile guy. And my mother, they weren't warm parents. In other words, they never told us they loved us. They never hugs, never like, oh, you did great, we're so proud of you. We never got that. My brother or I, never.
Oh my God.
Ever once.
That's the way we grew up, though. I know
No,
my parents
no.
love me to death, but they've never said it to me.
No.
I
don't
hugged my father once in my life. But he's the best man in the world. I idolize him.
Oh my
everything
God.
I do.
I can't even
think about how
imagine.
he would see me because he's still alive. He's 9 years old, but I think he's the best. That's not the way we grew up.
Yeah. No, my father's a mean guy. Yeah, he was mean, and he was mean to my mother. And my mother came from a screwed up background. So my brother and I basically flew by the seat of our pants. So we had to kind of create our own thing. My brother had the name Sylvester in the 50s, which didn't go over big because Sylvester the Putty Cat.
Oh, yeah,
stuff
yeah,
like that. And
Oh,
so,
right.
and he had a crooked mouth, and he was getting picked on, so he was always punching someone in the nose. So we kind of came from that environment. So the only fun was Sunday going over my grandmother's or my Aunt Rose's, because all the cousins would be there, and you didn't realize your uncles. They were all in lousy marriages, but no one knew back then. I mean, I looked at my one uncle's wife. I mean, she had a beard. I go, obviously.
Oh my gosh.
I don't think that's a great relationship. Yeah. So, no. It'd be
Sorry,
like,
Aunt Rose.
Sorry, Aunt Rose. Yeah, I mean, you're doing it today here.
No, but yeah, so I think I dealt with that thing. So that's probably why I didn't date. But I was like the class clown. But the girls that were kind of good looking were not interested in me at all. It was usually like the obese girls that no one paid attention to, but I made them laugh because I wasn't mean to them. People can be very mean. But because of my day,
Oh, trust me,
everything
I
was
know.
like fatso. So nowadays, you can't say that. The guy,
Body shaming now, yeah.
you, the fat kid, get over there. So in those days, they were like, all right, who's that? What girl? That fat one over there. Get over here. So I mean,
Couldn't say that now.
oh no, but they did. They'd say. So they would do things like that. So I think. So I would go into my fantasy life, which would be in front of the mirror in the bathroom with my guitar. So that's how I got through that. And all the other guys, were going out with girls, having fun, and blah, blah, blah. And I was kind of like, I hung out with the guys, I was just like, one of the guys.
Do you play sports or?
Not really. Not.
As a
I was too
musician.
skinny. I was little. I was a rack of bones,
Yeah.
But have you ever been in love?
I don't know. I think at this point, I don't even know. You could be, but you don't know. Listen.
You know when they leave.
Yeah.
Yes, I know that very well.
Yeah. It's
I
like,
know that all too well.
Yeah.
It's very, very
don't
painful.
cry. Anyway, but you get people. But I think if you grew up in a somewhat normal household,
Yeah.
where it's amazing. Like I see my sister-in-law with the girls. That's all they get is loving attention.
Yeah.
I mean, constantly. Oh, honey, that's so great. They kiss their kids all the time. Oh, that's so great. You did that. So beautiful.
Too much.
Yeah.
That's how I am with Ariana.
We never got
Your
that.
daughter does things very well.
She's
an
an
accomplished
amazing
athlete.
Yeah,
and
she
very good in
is
college,
truly.
Yeah, but
These kids, like 9th place in a relay race. Oh, you did a great job. No.
Hey, you get a trophy for being a loser.
And you know what happens? You get 9th place the next time. If in 9th place you get nothing, maybe you'll be 7th the next time. Maybe you'll
No,
strive to
you're
be
right.
first.
My daughter's won 2 bronze medals at the Junior
That's
Olympics
pretty
for water
awesome.
polo. So, I honestly, people are probably sick
Wow,
of
her
me
father must
saying
be a great
that
athlete.
because, I played soccer for 10 years. Yeah, I was very good at soccer.
But she's like, you beat up her boyfriends. So it's like drown them in the pool.
I know, Ariana, she's tough. She's a tough
Hey,
cookie.
man, you cheated.
But she's a sensitive, sweet, loving, caring, compassionate, kind
Well,
girl
that comes
outside of
from
the
you.
pool.
I mean, it comes from the involvement of the parents.
Yeah.
I never had it. I mean, seriously, up to my father's deathbed, he just couldn't do it. He was an angry, off the boat kind of guy. He was a violent guy, huh?
Was he in the war?
He's in World War II, but but I think he was nasty before that. But he was just
I feel like it was that generation. They were less likely to give you.
Yeah, but I had some friends of mine back.
Affection.
I would say the '60s and '50s was not the most demonstrative time. I remember the first time a guy hugged me, I almost had a heart attack. I said, "Yeah, what are you, queer?" In those days.
Really?
You're allowed to say that.
Yeah, what are you? Like,
For those of you who don't know what queer means,
yeah, okay,
is-
guys.
It means the same thing. Just
Yeah.
back then, it wasn't as bad.
No,
as
I know,
it is
it's
now.
the
No, but it
nicer
wasn't like
version.
a thing you would.
Yeah.
It wasn't a thing you would like.
yeah.
Dude, you didn't walk up to the guy and go, "Hey, man, love you." You go,
Yeah, it was.
"Yeah, I think the guy's like a homo." You know what I mean? I mean, that's the way it was back in those
So
days.
now, are you affectionate with your brother and your nieces? Are
I
you more
guess so,
affectionate?
yeah, but he's not that affectionate with me. We're brothers. It's not like every time we see each other, we're gushing over each other. It's just, that's how it is. But on the other hand, he's very much so with his kids. Yes, are his kids spoiled? Of course. How can you grow up in a $60 million house and be like normal?
Yeah.
But they're good kids. They're good athletes. They don't get in trouble. Stuff like that. But to think they are, I said, Sly, how long do you think they would have lasted in Philly? He goes, 5 minutes. I mean, if it's just they have no street at
Does
all.
Uncle Frank come over and tell him stories and?
Yeah, but they don't listen to me. They don't even listen. They don't care. They don't even know what Rocky is. It's like, oh yeah, that's so old.
It's not funny. The biggest movie of all time, and it's
not their. It's
when you're their parent, they don't see past the
No, they don't.
parenting. They just don't. It's
It's
really
just
kind
my
of
dad. But they're into their own thing, because everything is social media, selfies and stuff. I have a 25-year-old son, okay, and he is having a hard time because he's like a classical pianist and he dresses very well. The girl goes, "Why are you always so dressed up?" I go, "Excuse me, the girl's complaining that you're dressed well." I would dump this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Get rid of her.
Yeah.
I mean, he's very conscious how he dresses, but he's very conservative because he's from Boston. He doesn't dress like, like an open shirt with 9 chains. Hey, how you doing? Not like that. He wears like Brooks Brothers. He dresses nice, And he goes, some girls were picking on me. I said, well, Rob, wouldn't you think that's kind of stupid? That'd be like me telling a girl who goes, you know what? I don't want to go out. You dress too nice. I'm done. No, I mean, that.
Well, there's also a difference in that you cannot say anything about a woman now, whether they're overweight, underweight, or anything
I do
else.
all the time. I don't care.
But a man, you can say anything to a man.
Listen, you're talking to old school. I think men have been silenced, and I don't like that. I think it's not right. I mean, men. I'm watching that show, The Outlander, and the lead character in that show. It's all about honor and respect, and you can give a woman a compliment and not know her, and I don't think it should be bad. I do it all the time.
I say, I know you're going to lock me up, but you actually look very nice in that outfit. So
and what
if
a
that
lovely
offends
thing
you,
to say.
then you got some mental issues.
No,
it's not a cat call. It's
No.
you look nice.
Or the thing is, listen, I grew up when guys, all right, sweetheart, come over here. Hey, darling. Hey, look at her. Nice looking babe over.
Yeah.
And that's the way they work. Hey, honey, how you doing?
That might have been a little.
The Italians, that was kind of
No, the Italian, it's an Italian thing.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but the funny thing is now, being into physical fitness, if they have these models that are actually obese. Oh, that's cool. Well, that's just the way I am. I go, no, it isn't. God did not make you 5'2" and 300 pounds. You should weigh like 90 pounds.
It's also unhealthy.
It's also unhealthy. So when you put the stamp of approval on that means, well, just go ahead and eat yourself to death.
Okay, so go into Target, Kohl's, and all the stores, and they now have the plus size mannequins, and the pictures are for the women. You go to the guys section, and it's ripped abs, and it's this thing. They will never
What
put
message
an overweight
is that?
mannequin for a guy.
But
for
you
women,
told me you like fat guys.
I didn't say fat. The word fat. I said
She doesn't mind if they have a beer belly.
I do. I
And
like
the
the
Duck
Duck Dynasty
beard.
kind of look. That's
Well,
it's kind of my
bellies.
What's
They're
that?
just wearing camo.
No,
They're
I
pretty
like
good
I like
shape.
belly.
Yeah.
I don't know
Well, their
why.
belly
It's
starts in their
weird.
neck, though.
No.
I think you should get some help. Okay, seriously.
Listen, Frank, that's a whole other show. I need a lot of help. I mean, I've been married twice and twice divorced. I did not leave either one of my husbands. I loved them both very much, but both of them had said. The first one said he wasn't attracted to me, and the second one said that I looked like I had Down syndrome. So, I don't understand it.
Yeah,
You could have said, you know what, you got a gut. How's that?
I don't like to hit below the belt when someone hits me.
I'm terrible.
My whole thing is we rise by lifting others.
Oh, you're right in a lot of ways. You're
and
right.
I think that
Yeah.
it's better to take the high road. I want to go back to your son for 1 second,
Okay.
because we have been talking a lot about your family life, and in my life and with my daughter, I know my grandmother, my mom's mom, was not very affectionate. My mom, I love her, but she wasn't very affectionate either,
Right.
and maybe that was that generation. But I've made a concerted effort to be affectionate with my daughter. It's not hard because I am affectionate, almost too much.
I think you're very affectionate.
But she.
Yeah, I've never gone out with her, but she looks pretty affectionate. No.
But I'm wondering, have you made any conscious changes with the way that you have interacted with your son based on what you've been through with your family?
I would say I'm not a good father. I mean, I'd be honest to say, because I really didn't raise him. He was raised in Boston with his mother. We were not married. But he's done okay. He's got his issues to deal with. He moved out here to be an actor, which I was really not happy about, because I said, you couldn't come out at the worst time. It's a pandemic. The town is shut down.
He came out during COVID?
Yeah, in October.
Oh, wow.
And I said, I don't know what you're thinking. And sometimes I get really bugged because he asks constantly rhetorical questions or things he knows the answers to, and I get kind of bugged. So, but we're not really close. It'd be nice if we were. It's not like we're enemies, but we're just, when you don't raise someone, it's a little different,
Mm-hmm.
But I talked to him last night. It was kind of cool because he told me he was, I'm not going to say, with some good-looking girl. I said, well, I'm proud of you. No, so, that's a father's pride.
You're really so hilarious.
Are you proud of him because he's with a girl?
I
or 'cause he's
mean,
with a good-looking
I'm proud
girl?
of him with a hot-looking girl. I wish I had when I was that age. Yeah.
Corey, you don't get it. There's just
I
a
really don't
wave
get it.
of pride that comes over yourself when your son goes out with a very
That's
good.
my
and
boy.
There's a wave of I'm going to kill him if your daughter goes out with a good-looking guy.
Exactly. There's a
There's a total
juxtaposition
double
because
standard, yes.
there's.
What would you go do if a guy like this came over? He goes, "I really dig your daughter. We look like Jabba the Hutt." How would you feel about that?
You're asking the wrong person. Because if
accept
they
everybody.
literally look like Elephant Man, and they treat me kind and they don't leave. That's really my one requirement. Just don't leave me. I would give them a chance.
Then you go, "My grandkids will look like James Merrick."
No, but
I'm not. Oh.
But at the end of the day, when you're sitting on the porch and you have someone that can make you laugh, and they've aged and they don't have the physical,
Humor is the key.
Exactly.
Yes.
Humor is the key.
Humor is the key. You've got to be able to laugh.
My
with
son
that
asked me,
person.
he goes, I'm out at the bar, and all these guys are kind of goofy looking and getting all the girls. I said, can I explain something to you, Rob? Okay. I don't know if they're going to get anywhere with the girls, but they're buying them drinks. But he seems like a funny guy.
Yeah.
You take yourself so seriously, and you're so uptight. When you walk up, they picture that like you're a little rigid. He goes, "No, I'm not." I go, "You're absolutely rigid.
Girls can sense fear.
Like an ironing board." I mean, you're like, yeah. And he goes, "Well, how about you?" I said, "Rob, you and I are cut from a different cloth. I had the fly by the seat of my pants, but I was always somewhat comical and animated. I've always been that way."
Well, I saw a picture on Instagram. I follow your Instagram. And you were sitting. I stalk your Instagram, and you were sitting in a bathtub, and you had one of those shower caps and your dog. And I was like, even with a shower cap and a dog between your legs in the bed, you were still a good-looking man.
But the Argyle socks hanging on the rail.
Yeah. I'm like, what prompted you to put that on and get in the?
I don't know, because there's something about
it was hilarious.
that little puppy.
He doesn't know the difference between delete and post.
Yeah, but something about something about that little puppy. And we didn't have a shower.
Was that your dog?
Yeah,
Oh.
but it was a bathtub. We lived in a ghetto. It was $80 a month, and it was a bathtub without a shower, but with the hose, with the thing.
Okay, yeah.
So I'd sit there like this.
God, like the European ones.
Yeah. So the dog came in, and she was so cute. And there's something about when you hold a dog in the water and they're all wet and they're like pup. I don't know, it was just something like that.
But hold on, forget the dog. I was
shower
more impressed
hat.
with the shower cap.
Well, because I have very challenging hair.
Curly hair.
My hair, oh God, back then it was really curly. And I think maybe I had to go out or do a gig. And for me to wash my hair, and they didn't really have blowers in those days, was a nightmare. I hated it.
You had a head of hair too.
I did.
That was beautiful.
I
You
did.
still do.
Well, a little
Still have
bit,
a great
yeah.
hair.
But I love that dog. Yeah, it's not really a nudie shot. It's like some goofy.
That was
23-year-old.
great.
Yeah.
I loved it. I love those old
Ask him
pictures
if we
you're
have permission to
posting.
put it up. I'll put it up right here.
Do we have permission
Yeah,
to use
sure.
that photo?
right, send me a
Wonderful.
copy.
Don't Photoshop it where I don't have anything.
Well, if you're I just want to say if you're
Take
tuning
the dog
in,
out. Yeah.
Put you
we're
on
talking to
Arnold's
Frank Stallone Jr.
Yes.
And you have a documentary that is out now on Amazon and iTunes, and I've seen it. It's wonderful.
Wait,
It
I'm
is.
sorry. Are you a junior?
Yes.
That's odd that the first son's not the junior.
No, in the Italian thing, usually the first son is named after the grandfather.
Well, my father, Raymond Victor, my brother, Raymond Victor, is a junior, then came me. But yeah, it's...
Yeah, my grandfather, Sylvester, the barber.
Oh, okay.
Everyone in my family was a hairdresser or a barber.
I actually have my license. Did you know that? I could cut your hair, Frank.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I
Legally,
do.
she does.
You went to beauty school?
I did. I have my license. I've had it for years. I used to be a beautician, not a beautician, but I did. What's this?
Makeup on set.
So not. He was in your documentary, Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger's
Schwarzenegger,
makeup
yeah.
on the Home and Family Show. Do you remember that show?
Yeah, I was supposed to do it. Yeah.
No, this was years ago, 20 years ago. I was the
You
original
weren't
makeup
actually
artist.
a makeup artist? So you came out here to be a makeup artist?
No, I came out here to act, and I had already had my cosmetology license. Your mom and dad and I have a lot in common, and we're Italian. I got my license, and my grandpa passed away, and so I just decided to move out here and pursue the love of my heart, acting and singing and all of those
But
things.
did you act like where you were from first?
Yes.
But where are you from?
A small little podunk town called Danville, California, San Ramon.
San Francisco.
It's a little
Marin
town
County.
in the East Bay. And I was in plays and I did a lot of acting. I was a model for this Jimmy Gourmet up in San Francisco. And once my grandpa passed away, I decided to come down here and pursue. And I have a whole bunch of stories.
$400
But
to my name.
Huh?
I did. I had
$400
$400 in my bank account, and that was my first month's rent. Those were the days where you just flew by the seat of your pants,
Yeah.
as you know. And so I got this job on the Home and Family Show, and I did a lot of celebrities.
Mike Berger was
Everyone you could think of would come on this live talk show, and so yes, I could cut your hair.
Did you enjoy it?
You know what? I bloom where I'm planted. And although I was pursuing my acting career, I just had so many divine appointments and so many wonderful moments on that show. And so, yes, I enjoyed it. I met so many wonderful people, and it wasn't what I came here to do, but it was a stepping stone, as you know. And, that's why I love your story so much, because first of all, you didn't give up. And secondly, you're still pursuing what is in your heart. And I believe, biblically, I'll say this for 1 second, I'm not going to get too preachy,
It's okay.
but God gives us gifts. And that's why I asked you earlier.
I believe that. And here, I want to show you something. I don't know if you saw this show on Netflix. It's very interesting. It's about surviving death. Have you seen it?
Yes.
It's pretty heavy in a sense, because I really don't believe we have all the answers and we know everything. But there were people on there that are doctors, and not stupid people. They're saying, yes, I was dead for 30 minutes.
There's something else.
And there's other people said, I was dead for 30 minutes, and I know I was going to a better place. People go, oh, well, it's just your brain. How do you know?
Yeah.
Or they do the mediums. I don't know. Sometimes you think the mediums are goofy, but
we don't know.
I felt a ghost in our house, because 7 people died.
Ooh.
Of course, my father is so cheap, he has to buy a house 7 people died in during the Civil War. And so we bought it, and I said, this house is
That was pretty common back then, though. A lot of people kind of died in their houses
Creepy.
back then, so that's...
That was during the Civil War.
There was a cemetery every block.
Yeah.
So, yes.
And I felt, I said, wait a second. And I felt like a cold breeze come by me. I went, because I know I put something on that table and it wasn't there.
Ooh.
And I felt a cold breeze. But I wasn't afraid. It wasn't like, Nosferatu was coming out of the window or something. It was just like, it was just, they're there.
Well, my question is, how come ghosts and spirits always come in and do bad things? You ever find a ghost comes in, does the dishes, vacuums the floor, and then goes back to the divine? Right?
Yeah.
I want a ghost that was like a domestic servant in her last life, or his last life.
my
Comes
gosh.
in, cleans the
Change
house when
the
I'm
channel.
sleeping.
Do something like that. Fix
channel.
Or if I'm sleeping,
Fix
they turn
my
the TV
computer.
off.
Come on, pal.
Cover my feet with a blanket when I'm sleeping, and then go back to the realm.
That's
where
right.
they
Go
came
back,
from.
fly away somewhere. That's
a pretty simple request. Change the channel.
Yeah.
But I found that
You're right.
show very interesting, because it shows different sides, and I really have a problem with people that can't happen. So when I go with an atheist, I go, so you honestly don't believe anything? Anything? I mean, you don't believe. Then why do people, when they're on the battlefield, oh God, why did they say that?
There are no atheists in foxholes.
Yeah, why did they say that? I mean, and the thing is, you don't have to be there's some people that are out there, way out there. Like my stepmother, she was like a party animal. She became so religious that I was like, oh God, I have to go over and sit there. And I'd say, hey, Candy, how's it going? The Lord. I said, I can't deal with this day. I'm tripping on acid. I can't deal with this. Okay. Yeah. I said, I'm peaking right now, man. I can't. But the thing is, there's some people.
You're literally sending me into a hot flash right now. I know it's a lot for this moment, but that's funny.
No, but I believe in that stuff, and I thought that was a very interesting show. But I will tell you, I've seen evil. I swear to you.
Yeah.
My brother was a bit of a klepto when he was younger.
Sorry,
he stole
Sylvester.
It's okay. He did it. He gave it all back. So anyway.
By the way, if you ever meet him, you got to go, you're Frank's brother, right?
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah.
He stole this cape that looked like a vampire cape. I swear. From like a museum, like a wax museum, some old place in New York City. And he said, I think this thing's like haunted. Okay, so anyway, it hung in the closet in the house, right? And my sister, my late sister, thought she was like a witch, but she was goofy, whatever. And I said, there's something. He goes, so I swear to God, I put this cape on one day, and there was a surge that came through my body like like evil. I took it off.
I believe it.
I'm telling you, man. I said, man, Mark Slug goes, yeah, we gotta get rid of that cape. I said, well, you brought it here, you idiot. I mean, but it was like a vampire cape, like something like John Wilkes Booth would have worn, like one of those things. That really scared me.
Oh, by the way, hold on, before you do that, I'll give you my mom's favorite God story. My parents are very religious.
Yeah.
I have a friend, Tim Sr., who became a Monsignor. So he's Monsignor Sr. his whole life. His last name was Sr. Philadelphia. Monsignor Sr. Senior Citizen Center. Anyway, my brother, sister, and I, we all played golf as a kid, and one Sunday we were all in the championship of our respective age groups.
Yeah.
So my brother was 16, said, take your sister and brother to church and then go play your game. Good luck. Okay. Well, my brother and I dropped my sister off at church, and we go screw around for an hour, come back, we all go do a thing. My sister wins hers, and we both lose. And my mom's like, I'm not saying, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Maybe if you're going to church, you'd have the cup. Your
definitely
sister's got a trophy, and you didn't go to church.
Oh, you get that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
To your point and your story, I've seen darkness too, and I have never told this story ever, but I had a boyfriend when I first moved here, and his name was Steve Bernstein. He will tell this story as well. I know I'm okay to tell this. He was Bill Bernstein's son, who ran Paramount Pictures and owned Orion Pictures, and so he comes from a nice Jewish family, and he and I are still friends to this day, and we talk about this because it really freaked us out. We were sitting there watching TV, and I heard this loud entity. It was like a loud rumbling voice, and I heard it, and I was just about to say something to him, and he turned to me and he goes, "Did you hear that?" And we were both so freaked out that he called his dad at 12 o'clock at night, and he was like, "Dad, we literally just heard the devil." And it was one of those moments in our lives that affected us, because you might hear that, or you might have felt that with that cape, but someone else heard it too. So to your point, there is darkness, there is light, and there's a whole other world that we don't know out there. And that's why it's so important to be inclusive and be understanding and love one another. And that's why we've created this show, is because we can hear different points of view and come and meet a common ground and understand one another and hopefully learn something from it.
Yeah, I wish I wasn't as judgmental.
Yeah.
My whole movie is about preconception. People, watch Rocky's Brother. They don't even know anything about me, but that's what they say. They say, well, you should hear his band. How could it be? It's Rocky's Brother. I said, okay, whatever. And sometimes I find myself doing that. I go, you know what? People have been doing that to me for 40 years, and I don't really like it. I mean, I love being my brother's brother, but I don't
like being the brother of a fictional character.
Exactly. It's like Sarah Karloff was a good friend of mine. Her father was Boris Karloff. It'd be like someone coming to you, it's Frankenstein's daughter.
Yeah.
That'd be like Fred Gwynn's kid. It's Herman Munster's daughter.
I love Herman Munster.
Yeah, but I'm just saying. So it's a kind of, you become a non-person at the point. You become a something of a something, and people say, "Well, I remember. I grew up. My brother was." I said, "Wait. That's local yokel crap. I'm talking on the big stage. You're talking Sylvester Stallone and Frank. You're not talking about Johnny Bag of Donuts and his brother from Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying?"
Yeah.
But it's all relative, because there's always a favorite in the family. My brother was absolutely the favorite. He doesn't admit it, but he's totally the favorite.
Mine's my sister.
Yeah,
Never saw B in her life. Graduated, scholarships to med school, scholarships everywhere.
But hold
the
on a
golden
second.
child.
I think that has to do with the first child, because my brother was a favorite, and I'm younger
my
than
sister's
he
the
is.
second child. My brother's the first child.
Oh, well, sorry, Bob.
So was your brother favorite?
Thank you.
Was your brother favorite? over
Highly
you?
favored. He could do no wrong. He literally drove home in my mom's car without his license. Sorry, Dean, I love you, but you tell the story too. We all were standing out front the next morning looking at this car that was on rims only. There was no rubber. And we were like, how did you drive home? There must have been sparks flying. And it was like,
high.
it was like,
that what that was?
attaboy. If I had done that, I'd still be in prison. It's a weird thing. I don't know if it's an older child thing or not. And I try to think, because I only have one child, I try to think if I had another one, I would probably love them all the same, much like God loves us.
No.
You
We're
would love
all
them
his
differently.
children. I would love
my
them
kids the same, but
differently.
I love them differently. too.
Yeah, I would just love
But
them differently.
when you were saying that, it would be like, my brother would do horrible things. He'd get in fights. He'd handcuff me to the fire escape. He'd torture me. And she goes, "Listen, honey, your brother needs more attention. He's something wrong with him."
Meanwhile, you're
Just get the
bleeding.
crap beat out of me. Or he'd do something really bad. He goes, He stole Dad's car. I know, but he needs help. You know,
Mine was, my brother and father didn't get along very well. My father was Italian, so he was kind of heavy-handed. It never bothered me. It bothered my brother, and he's 6 years older.
My father was rough on my brother, too.
So one day we're stickball bat, broom handle.
Yeah.
We're fighting around, and it's the first time he's running. I throw
Stickball's a thing in Philly.
I was like, what?
Okay, I'll take a second. My brother's running. I throw a shoe at him. He shuts the door. It caves in the door. My dad comes home, and I'm in trouble. The day is long. I'm spanked. Everything else. 6 months later, he's chasing me with a stickball bat. Now it's a broom handle that you cut and you throw half tennis balls at it, and you play baseball. It's called stickball because you're throwing a stick. So he's chasing me. I shut the door, and I see the stickball bat go through the door into and I'm on cloud 9. I'm like, you're gonna get your ass kicked when you get home. Dad's gonna kill you. All 5 hours, I'm waiting for Dad to get home, and he gets home. Daddy, Raymond put a bat through my door, and he goes, it's okay, we're all getting new doors anyway.
Oh my gosh.
And my heart dropped. And I'm like, oh my God. And
it just never.
But as I got older, I realized they didn't get along, so my father could never really go after him as much as he could go after me. And now I take that as my dad loved me because he could beat the crap out of me whenever he wanted.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Frank.
Yes.
I would like to know what's on your bucket list.
Well, I go on my bucket list. I don't really have a bucket list. I'll tell you what I'd like to do, Corey. I would like to perform more. It's really, it's kind of, you know what?
Not to interrupt you here, but my best friend, I think I texted you the other day. I said, my best friend saw your documentary, and she literally looked at me and said, I want a front row seat. I want a ticket to Frank's next show.
Well,
so we would like you to perform more, too.
I would, too. And that's the weird thing. Now,
but
again,
it's been difficult with COVID, correct?
Yes, it's been difficult with COVID. But, I did the Mike Huckabee show, and he was just like the best guy, man. You cannot not like him.
Yeah.
I had to watch my mouth around him, but he doesn't really care. I mean, he's a minister, but he's not like, he's great, a good guy. But, and I said, I know your daughter's going to run for governor. I said, whatever you need. I'd love to because I like her a lot.
She's great.
And I like him.
Mm-hmm.
He's so calm and laid back. He's just exactly like that. But he has a good sense of humor. If you saw the show with me on it, I had him laughing all over the place. So he's got a really good sense of humor, So I... again, did not put forth to do this documentary. I didn't self-do it for myself.
Mm-hmm.
But I was hoping from it that somebody will look at it. Because it's really weird. I don't have an agent.
Really?
No. I don't have a booking agent for talent. But so I believe someone will come out. But a few people I know that are agents said, "Guys, I saw your documentary. I didn't know you did it." I said, I told you 100 times to come out and see the show. You guys don't want to make the effort to come out and see the show. I cannot explain my show because my show is like me. It's all over the place. I can't say, what is it? Well, it's a little this, it's a little that. It's not a variety show.
Have you ever
I'm not
performed?
Paul Anka, you know what I mean?
Have you ever performed in Vegas, or have they ever asked you to perform in Vegas?
I used to open for Don Rickles.
Really?
Yeah, the Stardust.
I love him.
Yeah.
He was great. He always put me down. Hey, Frank, you're a loser. I mean that. Get out of here. No. So he did, but I love Don. But Don was the old school guy. And the thing was, when I met Frank Sinatra, I met these people. They were from a different era, no matter what the show went on. And I never get sick, God bless. And one day I was just so sick, but I had to open for Don at the Morongo. No, San Manuel. And I said, I've never missed a gig, ever. And so they had to take me. I was laying flat in the back of a station wagon. They took me to the hotel, and I was dying. I said, how am I going to do this? I was like, I don't know what it was. I was achy. I was nauseous. I don't know what it was. Anyway, so I get to the dressing room. Usually during the dressing room, we're having drinks, I'm sitting there shooting a bull with everybody. I'm just like a drugstore Indian. I'm like, no, Weekend at Bernie's. Just that. So I'm wearing a tux, but I'm like this. In the back room, they go, what's wrong with Frank? Nah, he'll be okay, sorry. So all of a sudden I get, all right, Frank, 5 minutes. So I get myself up. Because I know if I didn't do that gig, I'd never work with Don again. Because that's just not them.
Yeah. No, they're...
I mean, Frank Sinatra's mother crashed into a mountain and died. He did a show that night. I mean, it's just the way it is.
Don Rickles has a great Frank Sinatra show. I'm not sure if he's talking about himself or a friend, but somebody was at a restaurant who knew Frank and went up to Frank and said, hey, would you do me a favor? I'm with new people. And you can come over and say hi later on. Frank said, I just want to eat. No, just come over and say hi.
No, it was Don. Don was on a date with a girl.
Yeah,
he said,
just come on
he
over.
said, Frank, listen, I want you to come by. I'm with this date. You know, I want to score with her. You know what I mean? So just come by and just say hello. So Frank gets done eating, walks over to Don. He goes, hey, Don, how you doing? He goes, can't you say I'm eating?
Yeah.
Don. But he would always do stuff like that. Frank loved Don. Now he could get away with it. Yeah, Frank loved Don and Dean. So the thing. Well, what was I saying? I lost my train of thought.
Oh, about doing the show when you were sick.
Right. So I walk on stage. I do the show by 30 minutes. You know, that's up in those days. And I come back. People go, that's one of the best shows you ever did. I don't even remember doing the show.
Really?
No, but you have that memory muscle that kind of kicks in.
Yes.
So what you were saying before, my bucket list, I would like to, 1, stay healthy. 2, make sure my family stays healthy and everyone outlives me.
Aww.
And play. I want to play music. That's what I want to do. I didn't get into music for the money because I think that's really creepy. When you see a kid that's like 10 or 11, oh, I can't wait to make all this money. I said, that you shouldn't be thinking about that.
Nobody at the top got in it for the money.
No, but you have to love wanting to subject yourself to rejection. You just have to love it because there's a lot of rejection in this business.
It's all rejection.
Yeah, it's all rejection.
I told my son, I said, it's 98% rejection.
Yes.
So if you don't have a thin skin and you're a little sensitive,
you will either get one or you will get out.
or you'll be out.
Yeah.
I said, so they go, well, how did you do it? I said, well, because I have thick skin.
Yes.
Even though I didn't have much of an anchor, which I really didn't. I didn't have anywhere to go. I was basically homeless without being homeless. I wasn't sleeping on the street, but I would crash on people's floors.
You're a musician at heart, but do you want to do more acting?
Yeah, I like acting.
Because you are a fantastic actor.
Thank you.
Have you done voiceover?
Yes. I'm the voice of Thunderhoof in Transformers.
Oh, really?
Which I don't even know what the hell that is. So they go, hey, listen, we got you auditioning for Transformers. They go, what the hell's that? I didn't realize
Thunderhoof. That's a great name.
Yeah, I didn't realize it's like a huge show.
Yeah.
So I go down there and I'm sitting there with all these, you know, Ted McGinley, what's his name?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he's there. He's one of the voices.
Yeah.
What show was he on? Oh, Married with Children.
Yes.
He's a really...
Love Boat, Happy Days.
Yeah.
His thing was anytime he joined except for Married with Children, anytime he joined a show, it got canceled a year or two later.
Yeah.
Love Boat, Happy Days, he was on the end of it.
He's a really nice guy.
Mm-hmm. Very nice. Well, he was in...
Nerds.
Yes.
And so he was one of the voiceover guys. But he's not really a voiceover guy, but he was doing it, and he's funny. He's a really good guy. So I'm doing it, and I'm around these guys that are really great voiceover guys that can do anybody. And I didn't even know how I got the job. You know, I was like talking like this, you know what I'm saying? Like Thunderhoof. And people come up and go, hey, man, Thunderhoof. I go, what? I didn't even know what the hell the show is.
I did that? Oh.
Oh, okay. But what's that?
Corey's going to ask you if you want to do voiceover for a show called The Prez.
Oh, yeah, I'm actually in this animated...
Well, I'm actually not bad at voiceover.
No, you're great.
Can do, hello, how are you? But then I always end up saying like Edward R. Murrow. Today, the news. Okay.
Well, here's the tagline. It's the true story of the first black African-American female president, written by 3 white guys.
Yo, what's up?
You could be the vice president.
Oh, I like that one.
That is secretly trying
That's
to kill the
a good
president
one.
all day long, trying to get the job.
That'd be good.
All right.
No, that sounds good to me. But the thing is, so the bucket list, I'd love to do more concerts. You know what?
I'm sorry, big concerts, little concerts?
Oh, I don't care.
Would you play a club?
Yeah, I do. I play vibrato.
Oh, do you? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'll play. I used to play the Canyon Club.
Oh, I love the Canyon Club.
Oh, yeah, that's why.
I played there.
We played there New Year's Eve on a stage in a parking lot. Everybody drove up in their cars.
Yeah.
It was like a drive-in theater with Queen Nation and our band. It was.
I heard they're in trouble now.
The Canyon Club?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know Lance, the owner.
Yeah, Lance.
Yeah, well, he's got 5 clubs.
Yeah.
And it's...
Nobody's clubbing right now. It's COVID.
No, I know,
Yeah.
I know, Lance. Yeah, but the thing is, I think it's in trouble, and I was talking to a few friends of mine that handled big acts. They said we lost $22 million this year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because they can't play, and now you got this overhead.
Yeah.
Are you going to keep the musicians on a stipend, or I mean, imagine huge groups that make, like the Stones make like $4 million a show or more. Mm-hmm. So imagine losing like 20 of those, 30.
What's the company that owns like the House of Blues and all the theaters?
Live Nation.
Live Nation. They got to be getting killed.
Oh, they're getting
Yeah,
killed.
they
I
are.
don't know if they'll survive.
Yeah.
No, they're getting killed. So the thing is, I would love to do more concerts. Now here's the key. I met with a guy. I played Mar-a-Lago on New Year's Eve with Bobby Rydell and just a few people, right? Oh, you're playing Mar-a-Lago? I said, what am I, a politician or a musician? Yeah, of course. They pay me, I play, right? Call me a mercenary, whatever. So anyway.
But that is actually, too, this whole point of this show. I've watched over the last 11 months, some very, wonderful friends and family members and people that have a left view and people that have a right view have used to be able to come together and have a conversation.
Oh, no,
and now I feel like there's not a divide, it's an actual severance. And people are losing
it's the
relationships.
Cancel culture. It's horrible.
It is, but you just said it. And I love what you just said because, you are a musician.
That's what I do.
You have a gift, and that's a God-given gift. And so to cancel someone out and say, I can't go play it at their venue because he is a Republican or he is a Democrat, it doesn't coincide with...
That's very dangerous.
It's dangerous and isolating, and
You're alienating half the population.
You're alienating
Well,
half
look
the
what's
population.
happening right now in our business and the
Yes.
acting. I go, why don't you just do what you know how to do and stay out of politics?
Yes.
I mean, I don't find you a political animal. Are you doing it, or are you doing it just to have favor?
Well, my question is, why is your opinion better than the plumber's?
But we
You know as
had...
much about politics as he does. So
Exactly, and then they go like, well, I said, so what do you have, a hotline to the White House? You're an actor. And I got in trouble once. I said, first of all, the last person I'm going to listen to about anything that's intelligent is an actor, okay? Or a musician. I mean,
Cory.
anything, no. But the thing is, there are people that are political animals. That's what they do. The Ben Shapiros, the Charlie Kirk. And by the way, they're all people of faith. Charlie Kirk is part of the, he's not crazy religious. He's not like her, but no.
I'm
she's
not crazy religious.
I know you're not. I know, I'm going to tease
Yeah.
you, honey.
Ben's religious. Candace Owens is kind of religious, but I think she's...
Yeah,
right.
but they're religious in the sense they're people of faith. I don't think they're
Right.
they're not like Franklin Graham, who I don't think's that crazy either. They're just people that believe in something. So when Charlie Kirk goes out there, and these guys get hammered, man. Ben Shapiro. But as you notice, the AOCs of the world won't debate them because they get annihilated. Yeah. Because these kids are smart, they're opinionated, they don't talk off the top of their head, they're very
Ben
factual.
and Candace know facts, and they'll come at you
Oh,
with this.
Ben Shapiro offered her, Candace Owens offered her $25,000 to debate, and she wouldn't do it because he would have left her in the room like, because he's really bright, he's very fact-oriented, and
That makes sense.
And people ask me to go, well, are you? I said, but I've always been conservative. This is not like something that just started in 2016. I've always been a kind of a conservative person, but I'm also a patriot. I love my country. I love freedom of speech.
That's right.
I think people are entitled to do what they do. I just don't like stuff shoved down my throat all the time.
But what do you think? You said freedom of speech. What do you think about what's happening now with all this
It's
censorship?
horrible. This is what causes civil wars.
Yeah.
This is the breaking point. Now it's becoming almost like fascism. You're telling you can't do this. Okay, some people rely on the internet for their living, or Google or Amazon. So you're going to just cancel their living?
Right.
That's it?
I can't remember the guy's name, but I was listening to Seth Rogen podcast, and they had the ex-guy from the AFL-CIO, or whatever it was, and he said, if you make a law, if you say free speech, we're going to abridge free speech, you have to give that power to somebody. It's not going to be you.
No.
It's going to be somebody in the government. And to give the government the power to curtail speech, you don't know who's going to be in power next week.
You don't.
And that's just
You
horrible.
don't.
And there was a
cancel
big case where the AFL-CIO was defending the Nazis speaking in Georgia in the 60s, whatever. And they defend them, so they have the right to speak. And he was on Merv Griffin with an African-American gentleman, and he gave his spiel why he's defending him. And the black guy said, yeah, I agree. Why? Because I know Georgia. If you give them the right to stop them from marching, they'll stop us from marching tomorrow.
That's
Well,
right.
it does go both ways, and that is the whole point. The cancel culture is very dangerous because what you're going to build right now, canceling that Keystone Pipeline, you've put thousands and thousands and thousands of people out of work. Now you get anger. Now all of a sudden it comes from one thing. Now you're messing with my food, my family.
And they're glib about it.
And
Let's
they're
go get a
glib
job
about
making
it.
solar panels.
Oh no, but see, this is what causes dissension. Every civil war we've had or uprising always starts in little pockets. Like, the Boston Massacre. They all start the Boston Tea Party, taxation, and it all starts in little things like this, and then it grows. Because what happens is, you notice before, people were afraid, but now people are not afraid to go after Antifa and beat their butt because now they're empowered. Now they're saying, okay, this is war.
You know,
You're like coming after us.
To that point, though, I was talking to Bob about this morning. I was fortunate enough to travel with my daughter. She went to Oaks Christian, and we took the field trip to Washington D.C. and to George Washington's house, and I signed the Declaration of Independence, and I was a chaperone on this trip. And I stood on the Battle of Gettysburg field.
I've been there.
And when you
Did you
talk
feel
about
the vibe?
chills, I mean,
Oh,
it literally and they were telling stories of men of honor and how if you had your leg amputated on one side, they'd send you to that side and you'd get healed and you'd go back over. And they just, for me, signing that Declaration of Independence, all of that came to life for me. I sat in history when I was a kid, and I didn't really understand it as much until
heavy.
I was an adult and I went to visit it. And so, having said that, like when you really get a sense of what our forefathers fought for and where we are now,
It's amazing.
How did you feel growing up in Philly where you could walk in Independence Hall and see where they signed and sit in the chairs and climb the
Alfred's
Liberty
Alley,
Building?
Betsy Ross's house, Carpenter's Hall. And you go, this is where it started.
Yes.
First of all, their brains were more developed than ours because they had no reference. They just thought Thomas Jefferson, John Adams, John Hancock. And the funny thing is, they would be rolling in their grave. A lot of times, like in the last few days, I don't go out that much anymore. So I sit there and watch Netflix. There's a thing called World War II, but it's colorized.
Right.
And it's like 10 shows. I'm sitting there going, oh my God, the Battle of Britain. Mm-hmm. Then the Nazis, the people, and just the actual grit.
When that LTV door swings open and you run out into machine gun fire,
You're running right out.
With 30 who the hell's going to do that?
That's it.
But they had to.
Yes, and they did it.
And they knew that, you might not make it.
Right.
So when I look at these young boys that they were 18, 17, 19 years old, and they fought for something, and for me, and I don't really care, when I see someone desecrating the flag, I said, do you understand how bad that is? Okay, you don't have to agree with, you could be whatever you want, but to actually do that and think about all the good people, just drive by in Westwood.
Forest Lawn.
Or go there, look at all those crosses.
In the military, you'll never see a veteran do that. They won't.
Oh no, in my day in Philadelphia, if you did that, that would not have been good because everyone was a World War II Corvette and they would have pulled over and it would have not been pretty. So we have had to have Cory smile at them. We go, no, please.
Oh, please. That doesn't work. I can't even keep a husband. How's someone I don't know gonna? I want to say thank you for coming out. Yeah, you're right. Thank you for speaking that over me.
We got another 20, 30 minutes.
Well,
there's one question I wanted to ask.
Yeah, I can hang. I'm not going anywhere.
Okay, I'm respectful of your time.
But we have somebody else coming. What I wanted to ask is, how long have you been in California, Los Angeles area?
Since November '79.
Okay. The difference in living in California versus living back in Philly, where we grew up, it's night and day.
Yeah, but the Philly we grew up no longer exists.
Right.
It's just, I mean, the carnage and the bloodshed and the shootings. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Gosh.
When you hear like 30 a
sounds
weekend,
terrible.
that'd be like 30 a year. Maybe.
City's gone downhill since they allowed to build buildings above William Penn's hat.
I just mentioned that. William Penn, that statue is so beautiful, and it really, that was Philadelphia. It's like it was in Washington, the capital, the City Hall.
Big statue of William Penn on top of City Hall. And for years, there was a local order. You could not build a building higher than the William Penn's hat. 12 stories. My dad was 1201 Chestnut Street. It was 12 stories. That was it. Now, skyscrapers.
Why did that ever happen?
It was after Rizzo. Yeah, it kind of needed it because the city had to become a major metropolitan city.
Yeah, but why, can't you be a little below it? I mean,
no, you had 12 stories. Now you have 40, 50 stories.
No, but the Empire State Building, you can't even see it anymore.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I'll tell you what you do. Just take a pen and raise them up 40 stories. Put them on top of some other building.
Maybe you could suspend them off like a block and tackle, like dangling them, or there's something like that.
But those are the days, I mean, when I grew up and kids would come over to the house who grew up in Philly, my father said, "What's your last name?" And so my mother's last name is O'Brien. Oh, she lived between 9th and 14th between Long and
people
Chestnut.
knew it.
You knew exactly where they lived by the name.
Of course.
Or, where are you from? St. Tim's Parish.
Right.
I know. So they're either like what part was your?
I was Cheltenham and then Upper Dublin.
Yeah, Cheltenham. So South Philly, yeah, with the St. Maria Gorettis. So you knew kind of where they lived, or yeah, where'd you go? Yeah, St. Matt's Parish. Oh, okay, I know where that is. So that's where it was because everyone was Catholic mostly. I mean, my neighbor, there was a Jewish section over that way, and there was always that. But in my neighborhood was mostly Catholic.
There's a Broad Street, the city, the street that goes down the city. You turn right onto Church Street, 6 churches in a row. Then a dentist office, and then another church.
It's like where my mom lives in North Carolina.
You go to Conshohocken on the 23, you see nothing but steeples.
Beautiful churches. Yeah. I mean, old. I mean, real churches. Not like these modern-looking ones. Old. I mean, where I go, Good Shepherd, it's not great looking, but it's been there since the 30s in Beverly Hills.
You go to church.
Sometimes.
Weddings, funerals.
Huh?
Weddings, funerals.
Well, speaking of that, you haven't been able to go in the last 11 months. How have you been worshiping, if you will?
I haven't. I stopped. No, I didn't stop worship. No, I'm not a church.
I think I asked you this. Would you ever consider doing worship music or being in a worship band? Or?
I like some of that music. Seriously, when I listen to on the radio, the Christian music, it's almost like listening to the Eagles. It's not like Sandy Patty anymore. It's not like, it's not like...
It's actually not. Have you seen the little movie I did called God's Not Dead?
No. Is there music in it?
Well, fun fact, it's just a little $1.2 million movie that's made $100 million worldwide, but...
And you didn't get back end?
I did not get back end. However...
Almost as good as my record
It's
deal.
Almost as good as your record deal. However... There's been many divine appointments, and in this band in this movie is a band called the Newsboys.
Yeah, I know Newsboys.
The Newsboys.
I met him.
Michael Tate.
Yeah.
He's phenomenal,
yeah,
phenomenal
really
voice.
Yeah,
he used to be in a band called DC Talk.
I remember DC Talk.
Remember DC Talk? Well, they made the song "God's Not Dead" just this huge theme. God's not dead. I don't know if we can sing it, but I totally lost my train of thought. That's menopause.
You sure? You didn't do that in your 30s?
Oh, I am in my 30s. We're talking about movies.
We're talking about music.
God's not dead. No, we're talking about something before that. What is wrong with me? Like, this is my show and I can't even think what I was talking about.
There's something in
Welcome
your
to the Alzheimer's
like,
hour.
Speaking of, my lip balm.
Yeah, of course.
You didn't do any of the commercials.
BeverlyHillsBalm.com is sponsoring this show.
We're supposed to open with a long commercial. And
here, I'll do this for you. How about that?
Yeah.
That's my lip
balm. She got the
right
lips
now.
to do it.
You know what, though? When I was a kid, I got horribly teased about my lips. Horribly teased about my lips.
I'm sure Mick Jagger did, too.
So I tried to pick them off my lip.
Oh.
And I picked holes because I tried to pick them off my lips because kids would be like, oh, they'd say horrible names. I'm not even going to say it.
That they were too big or too small?
Terrible names. Just too big.
No, I'm saying, were they saying they were too big?
Because I was like all eyes and all lips.
Like anime.
Huh?
Like anime.
E.T.
Japanese anime, yeah.
No.
Yeah, well, not E.T., thank you, though. Frank, I love you. You are hilarious, and I can't thank you enough for being here today.
Oh,
since I've met
what
you.
happened to your movie?
My movie, God's Not Dead?
It made $100 million on a $1.2 million
Are you in it
budget.
much? Are you one of the leads?
Yes, I am a lead.
You are.
I'm not. Okay, so
all over the cutting room floor.
Here's a great story. I raised my daughter, and I went to her one day, and I said, I'd really like to go back to acting. And she said, well, let's pray about it. And so we prayed for a year. And she prayed that I would get my own show, which I did. And then I got this movie, God's Not Dead. And prior to actually booking God's Not Dead, I booked a little role in Book of Esther. And I thought I was going in for this audition to read for, Queen Esther. Mm-hmm. And when I got there, they're like, oh,
Esther
no.
Goldberg.
Yeah.
No, became dead body number 3.
But what happened was they gave me these sides, and they're like, okay, well, you're going to read for the maidservant.
Yeah, dude.
And you know what? God humbled me in that moment. He was like, listen, I have a plan for you. So I read for that role. I book that role. I get to the set to shoot Book of Esther. And the producer, Russell Wolfe, said, I'd really like you to read this for this role, God's Not Dead, not knowing this movie was even going to be as big as it was. And it was opposite Kevin Sorbo.
He's a nice guy.
Kevin Sorbo.
Yeah.
He's wonderful.
Yeah, he's very good.
I played his love interest, and my brother in the movie is
So
Dean
no
Cain.
sex scenes,
no,
obviously.
my brother in the movie was Dean Cain.
I know Dean's great.
Dean's great. He's awesome. But my this whole movie was like my life. Like you said, your
Yeah,
art
yeah.
culminated in those writing
Yeah.
moments. This movie was like my life. Like I'm literally dating an atheist, someone who doesn't believe, and my brother is Dean Cain, who's this kind of like angry, arrogant, person. Which my brother in real life is who I love,
Angry guy.
but his name's Dean,
Oh.
which is weird. So the whole thing.
Dean Oliver?
Yes.
Sounds like a picture.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the man, Dean Oliver.
Yeah, well, this movie anyway had many, many divine appointments, and my point, I guess, was just when you think that God's done and you are hanging on by a fingernail,
Bingo.
anything can happen.
Yeah.
Anything can change, and there are people out there right now that are really suffering. They're going through a difficult time. They've lost their jobs. They've lost their wives. They've this whole COVID thing is, and the election and everything is. It put them in a hole, and
It's killing them.
I want to say, and maybe you have some words of wisdom too. Just hang on and press in, and don't give up, because anything can happen tomorrow.
Anything can happen. Anything can happen. There was a little movie a few years ago called Looking for Sugar Man.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
This is one of the... She's crying?
I know. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Is she a crier?
Yes. Very much so.
So in other words, you couldn't do a show without the napkins.
Well, it's funny.
We
'cause
did, and then he got
3
them.
shows in one day.
So then
and
it was like...
we ran out of Kleenex in the house.
Oh,
So we
poor
literally-
baby.
No, but
But the thing
Looking
is,
for
I
Sugar
saw
Man.
Looking for Sugar Man.
it's great.
I was so touched by that because this guy had lived a life for 50-some years of poverty.
Yes.
You see his joints, cold water flat. But he didn't know that he was more famous than Elvis in some countries, that he was a legend, and everyone thought he was dead. That's how far off the grid he was. And then the greatest scene is when this guy, I think South African guy, calls up. He goes, finds his daughter. She goes, listen, I want to ask you about your father. I know he's been dead a long time. She goes, no, he's sitting right here.
I'm chilled.
That movie won the Academy
Yes.
Award. I'm
Yes.
talking about a low budget, small movie, but what it had was what you were talking about, like a divine intervention. And you realize he didn't show up at the Academy Award because he didn't want to. That's a humble. He didn't want to upstage the thing.
Oh, really?
And he won the Academy Award. But he was a beautiful soul, and he was a guy that was really talented. He kind of sounded like Donovan. He was like a really talented guy, but he was ripped off, and he never complained. He just went back to being a carpenter. See, that is a great story.
Yes.
This, if you have told me, oh, they're going to do a documentary about you and you're going to win 5 Best Picture awards, we might have won more, but the COVID came. We were supposed to go to France for Minem.
Yeah.
All this stuff. So it's...
You don't know where God's going to take you.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
And because we're sitting there, who's going to distribute it? Who's going to distribute this movie? Girl like a line from England goes, well, we have a company. I've heard about your thing. You send us a trailer. We have a company. You've gotten stuff on Amazon, Netflix. I said, all right, whatever. So I forwarded it over to David, my partner. I hate to say partner because people think, my business partner.
Yes.
It's not like my
No,
partner.
right.
Yeah. So anyway, and all of a sudden they started talking, and she saw the movie, fell in love. It's an English company, branded, fell in love with it. They got us on Amazon Prime. They did all that, and they've also financed all the publicity.
And they're great, by the way. I get emails from them. They talk. You have merchandise. Like they're fantastic.
They're really great people,
Yeah.
but they're really nice, good people. So when there's a divine intervention, I wasn't really doing that much. I was going, hopefully something happened. I've lost my mother. My mother and I had a weird relationship. But, when you've had someone that's almost 99 years old, so, and she was vibrant. I got things sometimes that come up in video when she's 97 years old. You think she's 57. All right, you guys go over there and I'll take care of this thing. Yeah, do the tap dancing thing. Oh, Frank, shut up. Do the tap dance. And that's what she was
Well,
like.
she was still on. She was actively on Stern Show a lot. She was doing
Yeah.
publicity. She was,
Oh, that
she was
Stern
active,
Show
yeah.
thing was scary. That, like, talking to my father.
Yeah.
Oh, my father. That's early days of car phones.
Well, for those of you who don't know, she is an astrologer, so she's yeah.
Yeah, you're a Libra, right?
I'm a Libra.
That's right.
Aries.
Leo. What are you? Dog.
January.
Yeah,
Which
Tink's running
January?
around here somewhere.
Capricorn. He's a little more practical.
Do the 3 bits at the end. Well, not at the end, but do the.
Well, I actually remembered what I was talking about with that movie, and people in this industry, and I know you've probably come across this at times, will tell you that you can't do something. And prior to me getting God's Not Dead, I was told by a friend of mine that I was too old to play a leading lady. And then I booked opposite, Kevin Sorbo, and it ends up becoming one of the biggest Christian movies of all time. And behind Passion of the Christ, I'm sure you've seen that.
Couldn't
But
get past the thorn thing, a little scared me.
But that was hard. That was a hard scene. No, I mean,
My feet
sobbed
still feel uncomfortable.
a little bit. Yeah. But just because someone says something doesn't make it so.
No.
And I know a lot of people are on social media now, and they get a lot of comments and negative and positive. And how do you deal with some of your comments? I know you have a lot of lovers, though. We all love you. You're amazing.
I get some, not haters, not too much. Because what happens is, if they do say something horrible about me, then all the people that like me gang up on them, and they just leave. They just say, why don't you say that to my face, you creep? So we get those type people. Yeah, I mean, I get it. Not so much. I really kind of stay off Twitter, because I think Twitter really is a breeding ground for trolls and stuff like that. And
it really is.
It is.
It really is.
But I enjoyed the sense. I have not been that political, and I'm not that political. I'm just a guy that loves my country, and I'm patriotic, and I believe in everything that was written in the Constitution. I'm not a radical. I'm not out there blowing up stuff. And I'm just like a regular guy, and I'm not a politician. I'll leave that to,
the politicians.
Alec Baldwin, who's not a politician. But, I mean, no, I'm just saying.
He is on SNL. He plays a pretty good Trump on SNL.
Yeah,
oh my
done.
gosh.
Well, let me ask you something,
okay,
Miss Oliver.
Oh, yeah,
so after this huge success with the movie, did you get any movie parts after that?
I did do well. That's a good question, because at the time I was shooting Beverly Hills Pawn, so I had this contract with Beverly Hills Pawn. So I took off.
How many shows did you do with them?
We did 66 episodes.
That's, what, 2 years?
3 and a half years. And so I had that contract that I was in, so I kind of did things in between, and then as you know, once one thing goes, and so yes, I had done a lot before that as well, but I did Motivation, a movie with Angus Benfield.
So the guy in the front, he's an independent producer. The movie Behind You, Heaven, he did for like $100,000 and made $105 its first weekend during the pandemic in October.
Yeah.
Motivation was like he's doing movies for $100,000.
Where's your name, babe?
I'm over here.
Yeah, she's in Motivation.
I'm in this one.
Oh, Motivation.
Which he's covered my name.
I thought you were in Slapshot. No.
That's just the best movie.
No.
The greatest. The handsome brother.
But you can see Cory. She's right up there above the hat.
Yeah, that's me.
Where?
Right up on the right
look
look
at her.
I play an attorney, a very serious.
But do you ever get recognized for Pawn?
Okay, so funny enough, yes, I get recognized for God's Not Dead and Pawn, but people say to me all the time, this is why I can relate to you, oh my gosh, are you Jennifer Love Hewitt, or are you Phoebe Cates, or I get everyone else except for, I'm like, no, I'm Cory Oliver. So I understand it.
She looks like 20 years old. I mean,
I know, you're way too, okay.
No,
I love you,
no,
you're
and
way
believe
too
me,
kind.
I'm the most critical. Why do you think I'm not married? I'm like the most critical person in the world. I'm the worst.
Listen, Frank,
I remember I went out with her, I liked
her.
her a lot, and she belched. I said, that's it, done.
Well, first of all, women should not belch.
I know. I said, you're not allowed to have any bodily functions.
How do you
Ever.
stop it? Sometimes they just come up.
No.
No,
Accidentally.
Yeah.
But I actually have this conversation with my daughter, because it is so inappropriate for a woman to just belch.
Or how about when people...
A guy, too. We just don't care.
Now,
Well,
now,
it's
how about
more
when
acceptable.
people eat with smack their lips? It's like...
yeah.
Like people eating off my plate. I said, I'll kill you. I swear to God, I'll put the fork right through your forehead.
Yeah, the only thing worse than that is eating pizza with a knife and fork.
Oh, that's really bad. No, but the thing is, I went to military school, so you had to sit there like this.
Did you do the square?
Yeah. So it wasn't like, that's tasty. I told,
Well, who would ever do that?
Oh,
go to a Jewish deli.
Yeah.
Boy, vey, that's tasty. And I said, you stick your fork in my plate, I'll kill you.
Well, first of all, never touch an Italian's food.
That's true.
Unless they've said, hey, try this.
And I hate the word yummy. I block people. They go, why'd you block me? I said, anyone that says yummy or tasty on my site.
Okay,
So
so
you don't like
blocking
Justin Bieber's new song, Yummy?
No, I hate it. I said like this. I said, because, you know, I cook on my show, on my thing. And I said, if anyone says, yummy or tasty, I'm not going to, I'm blocking you. And I could be, what'd you do? I said, because I hate that word. I told you, those are 2 words I hate more than anything.
Why?
I don't
Why
know.
do you hate Yummy?
Because it's such a
So
putsy.
yummy.
Yeah. It's like my brother. If you say treats, you're out.
really,
Hey, would you like a treat?
That's so funny.
Yeah, or a snack. He gets like Mo Howard in Three Stooges, Beverly Hills. Slowly I turn, you know, and that's what happened to me. Like I did an interview a few days yesterday. A guy goes, "So it's Frank Stallone's brother," and my publicist goes, "I just saw your face like change." I was like, first I was smiling, then I was like this. Yeah, it was a good movie. I'm happy. He goes, "What?" I said, "You have to understand. It's like Pavlovian." It's like if you see the Three Stooges, the famous scene where he says Niagara Falls.
Yes.
Slowly I
Yes.
turn. So when they do that, it's just like it's like a disconnect.
Yeah.
It's like
we have to ask every guest what word sets you off.
That's actually funny. Yeah,
what word
that's good.
sets you off?
Nothing
Yum.
sets
No,
me
no.
off. Nothing sets me off.
Well,
You know what? I know what it is.
What? No.
That's okay. Divorce.
Really?
Because
this looks like a tissue.
Because it's yes, that sets me off. So we have
So obviously, Tammy Wynette's song was not your favorite song.
DIVRC.
no. I mean that whole because I really all my life I come from a divorced family, so all my life I just wanted to be married and to make some man happy and
Right.
just I'm a very nurturing caretaker. So
Why do you want to make some man happy?
No, I don't want
Be
to make them happy.
Make him make you
well,
happy.
not that, but like I really believe that there's something great about the institution of marriage. I believe that. I still believe it,
Yeah,
even
of
though
course.
both of my husbands have left me. I still believe it.
Which
I believe in
find
love.
like really weird.
Lady,
believe
why
in
don't you
love.
lady
Her.
her the second one.
When I forgive him, I forgive you. You
How long
for
were
you
you married?
forgive them
So
for
how
they
long were you
know
married
that
the second
what
time?
I was married for 26 days.
That's pretty good.
It's
That's how the records
26 days longer than you were, right?
Jesus Christ.
Frank, you're so cute.
26. Yeah,
No.
Look how cute she is. Why
No.
would you leave her for some mutt?
No,
We'll
I
tell
don't
you off
know.
camera.
Okay.
I don't know that they did for anyone. And you know what? I've gone through my own heartbreak over it, and I've written songs about it, and whatever. But I think that word triggers in me a PTS moment because when you go through pain of that degree, it definitely triggered that.
I went
something
through
in
that
me.
once, but this was a weird thing. I stay away from Scorpio women, even though I'm attracted to them, but I know it's a death wish.
What month
Oh.
is that?
November. Yeah, I know it's death. But I'm like kind of attracted to them, and they're like attracted to me, but it's not meant to be because they're just evil, okay? So I went through a
Not
thing, and
all.
I was like, my brother goes, Frank, snap out. I go, oh. It was just weird, you know?
But was your heart decimated?
Oh, yeah, but the thing was, I believe sometimes it can be ego. Your ego's more bruised. And do you love her? It's like Richard Pryor says, I'm in love with a girl I can't stand. So there's a thing.
That's funny.
And Sly goes, you're getting a little crazy, brother, you know. I said, I don't.
Such
He
a
goes,
good impression.
I think it's your ego. You're really in love with her, or did you just like having sex with her and having her around? He goes, well, come to think of it. Yeah. So he said, let me ask you. And now that what the funny thing is, when you kind of break up with someone, then you really find out, because everyone comes to, I didn't really want to tell you when you were going
Right.
out.
Yeah,
Everyone's
exactly.
like,
We're
you
not
should have
worried
seen
about
it.
your
Yes.
But she's actually a hooker. I said, oh, thanks
Oh,
for telling
God.
me.
Oh.
Or, that she's actually into bestiality. I know she has a Shetland
Oh,
pony
wow.
in the
This
backyard.
is so taking a whole
Well, I
other
gotta tell you,
turn.
it's
So I'm saying that. So my brother says to me, which he has that, like, in other words, when I go off the rails, all of a sudden, because he's kind of neurotic, but then he gets real practical, like a psychologist.
He's been married for a very long time, though.
Yeah, but he's off the rails too. So he goes like this. Now let me ask you something. Now, after all you've heard about her since you broke up with her, if I said you could have her back, I said, would you want her back? I go, hell no. He
No.
goes, well, okay.
And I feel the exact same way.
It's
by the
very
way.
So if you could have Mr. 26
No.
Days back,
No. In fact, No, I wouldn't. I wish them very well, but I would not because I feel like God spared me from
You're
a
one
real
of the better
dangerous
bastards.
situation.
You're hanging with us.
The toughest thing as a guy is your best friend is marrying somebody who you know is a nightmare. You can't say anything to him.
Yeah.
If you say anything to him, he's going to marry her anyway and then never talk to you again.
Like, think
But
about
5
this
years later,
fruit
you got to
bat
say,
over here. This is like an Australian fruit bat without his wings.
Wait till you see my dog, Frank.
Show the camera.
This is Tinks, for those of you tuning in. This is Tink, right?
Tinks, T-I-N-X.
T-I-N-X.
Takes me
She
can't
is
figure out what kind of
half-
dog you are.
Oh, she loves you.
Half
Frank.
Chihuahua and half German
Oh,
Shepherd.
she loves
Well,
you.
I think the German Shepherd thing didn't
Oh,
make
if
it
you're
happen.
listening in, Tinks is tonguing Frank
I think this is.
Stallone.
I think this is the Herb Veliches of dogs. Here, come here.
He's cute.
You
She's
are
so.
actually
And
very-
you love dogs. Do
How
you have
old?
animals?
11.
You are actually very
Oh, she loves him.
cute. You do look
Yeah.
like kind of like an aardvark a little bit.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Well, Frank, we're gonna wrap up because you've given us so much of your time. I can't thank you enough. Frank Stallone Jr. is on with us today, and he has a documentary out on Amazon and iTunes.
Mm-hmm.
It's fascinating, full of
Thank you,
information.
Cory.
You are so talented, and you're really a kind human being, and
Thank
I'm
you.
so grateful to have met you. But I do have a
Before
couple.
we
The
go-
last few questions I have for
Okay.
you. It's I'm gonna ask the first one last because hopefully we'll end on a high note.
Oh, so we're gonna start
Give me 3 words that describe you. Just 3 words.
You're filling out a Match.com.
Oh boy, matches.
I'm gonna set you
Tinder.
up.
No, let's see. See things that I think loyal,
Love that.
humorous. I don't know. The third thing.
Say no more. Loyal that's my number 1. That's a
I
good
think
one.
loyal, humorous, and
Is it humorous or hubris?
humorous, and multifaceted.
You are. That's true.
I mean, I do
You're
a lot
actually
of
true.
things.
You are
Not a lot
very,
of
very
things great.
Renaissance man. Yes,
Yeah.
you are.
That's it.
Okay, Bob. I don't know what these are.
Okay,
I think
this
this
is the
looks like a
Rorschach
heart-shaped
test.
vagina, but I
Hold
don't
on,
know.
put
What
it-
am I?
No, put them together one at a time. Do them quick, and then
I
we'll
know
say.
Rorschach
Okay,
test.
so
Okay.
we're gonna just do these quickly.
This is number 1.
What do you see?
A bat that hit the floor.
Okay.
A pagoda.
Okay. Okay, I love
No
you.
idea what that
Looks
is.
like a pumpkin,
It's upside down.
actually. This is?
That's upside down.
2 thumbs up.
Okay, these better be clean images too,
Yeah, they are,
Bob.
they are.
Okay, and this is the right side?
No, see, the number will be up on
Oh,
the
this
top
looks like a
right corner.
turkey to me, but go ahead.
It looks like some kind of flying gargoyle with dog hoofs or something. I have no idea what the hell it is.
Frank, you are just killing it today.
Jimmy Durante.
Okay. Okay, Frank, your last question is.
Oh, before that, you know the best.
Do I get is this?
I don't know
We'll,
what they
we'll grade
are.
you. You know the Rorschach joke, right? Guy goes to a doctor's office, and the guy does a test. He goes, "What do you see?" He says, "I see a naked lady." Okay, next. What do you see? I see 2 naked ladies. What do you see? I see 2 naked ladies and a dog. I say, you have a dirty mind. It's me. You're the one with all the dirty pictures.
That's true.
Last question.
Yes, love.
Who's your celebrity crush?
Cory.
Well, now.
I was hoping you'd say that.
Yeah, she is. Have you ever gone shopping with her?
Yeah,
She's monk.
yeah.
I say, I'm going to get this. Oh, no.
I have this thing where I have to pull it from the back. I don't know what it is. I'm
No, because you're
OCD.
smart.
I'm
No, why?
OCD.
No. Because that when you work in a supermarket, they put the freshest stuff in the back and the old stuff in the front.
Oh, see, I have this thing where someone may have touched the front one, and so like I have to get the one behind it. Not even the one in the way back.
Well,
just
now
like
you need some.
Do you remember
I
buying
do.
record albums?
I know.
Did you
I
ever buy
need
the
a lot
first
of that.
record album? No, you pull back and pull the 4th one out of the
Yeah.
back. Yeah, you never picked the first one. Magazine, you never picked the first
For
one.
those of you tuning in that don't know what a record or an album is, Bob will put that
Frank
up on
has
later.
many of them.
Many of them.
I do too. Frank, I love you. Thank you.
I love
you
you
are
too,
a blessing,
honey.
and
Thank you so
I can't
much.
thank you enough for coming out today. Check out
Thank you.
your documentary, or his documentary, Stallone, Frank, that is,
Now,
on
who is this
Amazon and
show-
iTunes.
Who is the show sponsored by? Beverly Hills Balm?
We have many sponsors, actually.
do?
They're going to be
Yeah.
inserted later. We have Faith Box.
We have Faith Box. We have Flight Sport.
Is that Faith Box?
That is Faith Box. Yes.
We have
Would you like to see
a
it?
pastor in Tennessee, Goodwin Otuno, who does a service every Sunday, and we put up a video. He's very, very good.
That's
I'll
nice.
send you a link to him. He's pretty good.
Yes.
South African pastor who will just take a couple verses of the Bible and teach you a lesson that you're like...
He's amazing.
Well, you know, I'm a little, I gotta admit, I'm a little bored with the Catholic Church now because the priest, it gets so boring.
Well, he's not Catholic. He's just Christian.
Yeah, I find the Christian things. What's that place that's up in the hills? It's like kind of wood. It's at the top of Beverly Hills or in Bell. It's a big church and they have music there. It's real open. It's somewhere in the
What?
hills,
Really?
near
Where?
Beverly Hills or somewhere. It's a church. I forget what it is. But the thing is, I love when I mean that's why the black pastors and ministers are great.
The
because
Baptists, yeah.
they talk.
Have you been
Yes.
to Oasis?
Where's that?
That's in the city, in off of Wilshire and where is it?
I don't know, but don't do this on camera.
Isn't there one in Beverly Hills up in the mountains?
I haven't been to that
It's a
one.
big Christian church.
Not the Lutheran one. I'm trying to think of what's up there.
No, it's like a non-denominational.
You know who would know?
But they have music.
I don't
Oh,
know.
really?
I don't know. I'll go to any church with you anytime. I
Okay.
love church hopping. I've gone to a lot of different ones around here.
No, I like it when they talk in a normal
Yeah.
voice.
Yeah.
I get a lot of the Catholic church. No. Now you have to understand. We grew up. It was in Latin, so we know what the hell they're saying.
So my grandparents were Catholic, so I would go too, and you'd have to. I always said you'd have to stand up, sit down,
Kneel.
fight. Yeah.
And if you got the first 15 pews were fine because they had the padded kneelings.
Yes.
But the ones in the back had just the wooden
Bring your
kneelers.
knee pads.
Oh my God.
How about in Catholic school when they get the frog clickers and get the nuns crazy? And all of a sudden you hear like everyone stands up and the nun would be there.
I have that same
That's
clicker
how
for
I
my
train. By the way,
dog.
that's how I train
I
Sinks.
know, I have that
the clicker,
too.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like a frog
I
clicker.
know, you're right.
This little dog. So what is a faith box? Is that what that is?
You know, actually, I will show you what Faith Box is.
Do they
Faith
mail?
Box-
Is this the one you posted on thing?
Faith Box?
Which it had like.
You actually took the time and went through my Instagram.
like-
I feel
Now you're her
honored.
celebrity
I
crush.
think it had like a diaphragm.
You are my
in it or
celebrity crush.
something. No, what was
So
it?
no, Faith Box is this subscription
Like
based.
condoms. No, what? No, what happened, honey? I'm sorry.
You're bringing it to a whole other level. Faith Box was kind enough to actually promote my song, and they are our sponsor. It's a faith-based Christian box that people can subscribe to for a nominal
And they
fee.
send it to you.
They send it to you, and it has all kinds of really amazing. What I love about this box is that they have artisans from all around the world that contribute to this box,
that's
and you
nice.
don't know what you're going to get. And they have in the impact guide, they have descriptions of the artisans around
That's
the world. So
nice.
it's really kind of cool.
Do you
And
still have that thing, or did you give it to
I
Karen?
actually gave
Give
the
it to Karen.
the cross to one of our
Built
guests.
by orphans in Uganda. Made a little rosary.
But you know
for us.
what? Because I just love you
But
so
no,
much.
like,
Are you old school? Do you like to write things down in your? Do you have a calendar?
no. What do you mean?
What?
No.
I wanted to give you this bound leather 2021 calendar.
No, I wouldn't use it.
Okay, well,
but
thank
I
you.
appreciate
Thanks,
it.
no.
Won't use it, but you know what?
Give me some Beverly Hills Balm. That's what you use.
I'll send you some Beverly Hills
Will
Balm.
you?
And it'll
Yes.
have literally will have her lips on it.
Oh man,
It does
that'll
have my
make
lips
it
on
better.
It does. Frank, I love you.
Use.
You really have made my day.
Well, thank you.
And to take the
sweetie
time to
pie.
come out here,
Oh,
you blessed
my
me.
pleasure.
So.
All the way from Westwood.
All the
Well,
way.
it's far in
That's
LA.
the 405 and 101.
That's like really
a
far in
nightmare.
LA. Yeah.
I know that is. It's terrible.
Yeah. Well, I love you.
The only
and
city with friends would come out from college and they'd
What's
see
this?
six
you
lanes
just-
in each
you put
direction.
that in your
and you're-
pocket.
Okay.
Gridlocked, 6 lanes in each direction. Schuylkill River Drive is 2 lanes in each direction.
Yeah, I remember it used to be east.
East and West River Drive.
What kind of dog do you have?
She loves it.
It looks like a rat terrier.